Welcome back, my fiendish friends. We are delighted to have you joining us once again for another thrilling episode of Shadows of Prophecy. Brace yourself for a journey full of magic, adventure, and spine-tingling horror as our heroes delve deeper into the truth of their reality and begin to unravel the mysteries surrounding the void. So, grab your favorite snack, get cozy, and prepare yourselves as we embark on this exciting journey together. As we immerse ourselves in the shadows of prophecy, be warned, for this tale explores the darkest corners of the human soul and psyche, where the line between good and evil is blurred, and unspeakable horrors linger in every shadow. Our story is not for the faint of heart, for it will not only bring us to mysterious lands, but have us walk down treacherous paths with unforeseen dangers, as our heroes, who are not always virtuous, confront villains who are not always wicked. As the prophecy unfolds, and the fate of the world hangs in the balance, only one thing is certain. Nothing is as it seems. So, stay sharp, ready yourselves, and we just might make it through this together as our heroes continue to pull back the veil. Shadows of Prophecy is a Dungeons & Dragons actual playcast with violent themes and adult language. Listener discretion is advised. Join us today as we enter the Shadows of Prophecy, Act 2, Behind the Veil, Chapter 14, Tinder to the Flame. All right, so hi everyone. We are on Twitch this season.
Hello.
My name is Timothy, and I am going to be the keeper of secrets. And I would like to go around and introduce our cast. So starting with Dan.
Dan?
Who's
Dan?
Come on, name change
I
in the
don't know
final
them.
season.
Hi. Should we introduce our characters too?
Yeah,
okay, so not just us.
absolutely.
Okay, hi, I'm Dan. Pronouns he, they. And I will be playing Wren, the scholar and rogue and ex-member of the Dead Boyfriends Club. Ex-member. I'm going to find out what that means in this episode. Wren, that's his name.
Chris.
Hi there, I'm Chris. I'm playing the tiefling cleric Salvador Sortrose, who is shocked and aghast at this blast from his past.
Beautiful. Russell.
Hi, I'm Russell, he, they, and I'll be playing Upri, she, her, a half-orc barbarian, and she big mad at the big bad.
And Kai.
Hi, my name is Kai, also known as Kendrick, but y'all can't say that anymore. Pronouns they, them, and I am playing the half-elf warlock, Yancey Bay, who's really honestly over Alice's bullshit. Quip.
Beautiful. So previously on Shadows of Prophecy, let's do a recap because a lot has happened. So after being rescued by... after being rescued by Yancey from her place of captivity in the void, Upri dragged her brother beyond the boundaries of the Enchanted Forest to the city of Harrow. Following the cryptic instructions of her solitary visitor named Daphne, they met up with Wren and Salvador, who had been chasing the threads of a grand mystery around a secret cult, referring to themselves as the Silence. The odd quartet quickly united with a common, albeit cryptic, objective to locate and question Vladlin Perdue, leader of the cult's incubating organization, The Veil. However, their path was obstructed by escalating tensions between the church and source users in the city, exacerbated by the growing menace of aberrations unleashed by the Silence. The party navigated a shadow network of apostates as monsters were periodically unleashed across the city in order to set up a meeting with Vladlen, but he seemed always out of reach until it was nearly too late. The city fully overrun with psionic hive mind aberrations, it seemed by a grace of the gods that they finally met the man face to face, having to rescue him from the almost literal belly of the beast. As another surprise, Wren and Salvador finally caught up to Alice, the very same Alice who Upri traveled with all those years ago, whose journal had led them to Vladlen in the first place. With her help, they gained access to the Vale's headquarters, where Alice sought to reclaim her stolen memories. The party interrogated Vladlen, whose responses resembled cryptic riddles, yet did resolve to take them into training to quench their thirst for answers in due time. However, Alice had different plans. Armed with her regained memories, and abruptly terminated their questioning by plunging the party into a void singularity. Upon emerging on the other side of this maelstrom, they found Alice standing by a lavish table, a solitary figure seated there, one recognized by Wren as Lark and by Salvador as Desmond. But before we get to that...
Boo, tomato, tomato, tomato.
Boyfriend, dead boyfriend.
My dear audience of witnesses, I see you've returned. How delightful it is to have you join us once more as we embark upon this new chapter into the shadows of prophecy. Speaking of, I sense a whisper in the shadows, a theme that lingers like a haunting refrain. And that is the inexorable unraveling of oneself. You see, life, or should I say, existence, is a tapestry woven into the delicate threads of time. And we, the fortunate, or perhaps the cursed, are but threads within it. We teeter on the precipice, balancing between the ecstasy of immortality and the unfathomable abyss of our own very existence. But what is the self, dear listeners? Is it not a fragile construct? A mirage that withers when confronted with the relentless march of eternity. It is in the embrace of the night, in the taste of crimson, and in the intoxication of power that we glimpse our own reflection. Not in a mirror, but in the cold, unforgiving pool of our desires. And so, as we journey deeper into this dark tale, remember that every soul possesses its twilight. Every heart harbors its shadows. Will our protagonists retain their personage, their essence, so to speak? Or shall they too succumb to the allure of the illusion? Dear listeners, sharpen your senses, for we tread upon the precipice of identity, where the line between savior and monsters blurs into obscurity. And our story unfolds. Dare to ask yourself, in the pursuit of greatness, what fragments of the soul remain? All right, so the four of you are on the other side of this void portal. You see Alice standing near the table. Seated is Lark / Desmond / something altogether, but I will get to that in a moment.
Kinky.
It is dark beyond the table. It feels as if you're in a room, but there are no walls. It just extends into a black abyss in every direction. The floor is a, like, shiny black, almost like glass or water-like surface that is completely still. Hard as stone, but, like, reflective and transparent.
Are we dead? No, I can feel my fingers.
That's what the fuck was that?
Tristan?
Wren is fixated on the figure sitting at the end of the table.
Is it really you?
I'm gonna take out a dagger and throw it.
Damn.
And then Upri with me, and I'm gonna throw it at that figure, and then draw another dagger and charge forward.
Oh, I'll follow with Fern.
So, sorry.
All right, I'm going to need you to make an attack roll.
Okay. Do I gain advantage for
surprise?
for assassin?
For assassin? Sure, yeah.
For my- okay, let's see. That is a 17 to hit.
So, as you see Lark, their face is surprised and sad at the same time. They're seated at this table, and you whip a dagger at them. It lands square in their chest, and you start to see their face become slightly anguished, almost broken and hurt. And they reach out towards you as you see smoke start to billow out from the gaping hole in the wound.
That's what I thought. It's a fucking trick.
I can explain, but they seem mostly unperturbed by the damage itself. You do see, like, wisps of smoke still kind of collecting around the wound, pouring out as if it was blood, but just dissipating into the air around it. I knew this was a possibility, but I couldn't know for sure.
How close am I at this point? Because I charged.
Yeah.
I ran forward.
You are approaching the table, and they're almost, like, lost in thought. Like, their speech has been unbroken by this situation. What would you like to do?
If I can make it to him, I'm going to... Is he still seated?
He's still seated, but you can see that he's kind of turning towards you and, like, standing out of his chair.
I'm gonna try and how do I put this? Like, jump on top of him so I could be kneeling on his chest.
Oh.
With my dagger to, like, his neck. Yeah.
So you like pounce on him.
Yes.
Oh,
All right.
oh, kinky.
But not.
So we're going to pause you there because this is a really complicated scene.
Yeah.
I had no idea how to prepare for this beyond just, like, yeah. Anyways, so I'm going to describe what Upri and Yancey see happening. So you've entered the space. You see Alice. Alice is pretty much just Alice. Like, she's a little more mysterious than the last time you saw her, a little bit more confident. She's got a little twisted smile, Upri, that you don't remember her having before. That was not part of her composure. But what you see sitting at the table is this monstrosity is probably a little bit too intense of a word, but it's golem-esque. There are two human faces that are stitched together along their cheeks. So the left and the right cheeks are stitched together.
It is both of our boyfriends.
You see a crystal lodged into an open brain that is exposed to the elements. And it's this black crystal, and there's like black smoke. And as you entered the room, there was this like smoky feminine visage that covered the two faces that wisps away as the left one begins to speak to Wren.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So we ain't
But
not seeing
Wren
the same thing.
only sees Lark.
Okay.
So the only two people who can see the cheeked up people are me and
Cheek to cheek. The
Yeah.
people who are cheek to cheek.
So you see cheek
Split
to cheek.
personality.
Salvador, you see Desmond.
Probably.
But
I
then
just buried a dagger
hear
in.
Lark's voice.
Oh, interesting.
And then you all see Wren whip a dagger and start charging. They lunge onto this figure. The chair is knocked over to the ground. You hear the wood splinter crashing everyone to the ground as it collapses underneath your force and weight. And that's when the illusion drops. Wren.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
You see the two faces stitched together, the crystal jammed into their craniums.
Is it clear that half of it is Lark?
Yes.
Wren is going to stumble, like, I guess we're like on the ground now, so he's going to like fall back onto his butt and like scoot back, like panic. And just like stunned silence.
I just assumed everybody else had died and you with them. I didn't have a way to check.
I got nothing.
As Ren stumbles backwards, because I was right behind him, I'm gonna go in for a swing into the face.
Oh no!
Unless Ren's or someone tells me to stop, because I don't know what's happening, and this looks like a monster.
Where's
And that is when the right face. And are you going to ask about Alice?
Yeah, where's Alice right now?
Alice is just standing at the edge of the table, hands kind of clasped, like ready to give a nice little monologue.
such a creeper.
Yeah.
Gosh, I hate her now.
Ready to give a nice little monologue, but kind of like staying out of what is panning out. And this is when you hear Desmond's voice coming from what you still see to be Desmond.
Yeah.
Salvador, get over here and pull them off of him. Us.
I want to go and tackle Alice.
Alice?
Yes.
Okay.
Because what's going through Salvador's head right now is Alice is not the squeaky clean person that I probably thought that she was. And she opened a black hole. She caused those paintings to be evil. So I just don't trust Alice, and I don't trust anything about the situation.
All right. Make I think it's just like a grapple check, which would be an attack roll.
Sure.
Can I hit it in the face?
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. You're also making an attack roll against the golem on the ground.
So this is like a strength attack roll.
Yes. It would
22.
be a strength-based attack roll.
Mine's only 13.
Okay. 22 will do it. 13 will not. So you tackle Alice. She is like really like she did her thing. She's ready to give a monologue. She's ready to talk to you all. Like how like there's gonna be a conversation, and now you all are turning on her, which as she's being tackled to the ground, she like realizes like that was a potentiality. Like, oh wow, I pulled all of these people into a singularity and expected them to be docile. So you tackle her. So you have her pinned to the ground, and she is just smiling at you.
Gross.
As Upree's hammer, Fern, slams into the black stone beneath you. You hear it clank through and just like reverberate off until infinity. Just like fades out. Do you all keep going? Like, what are... Should I have you roll initiative so we can do this one at a time?
Well, if everyone's getting their sneaks in, I want to get my sneak.
Yeah. What's Yonsei's sneak attack?
I want to sneak in. I want to get a sneak in. Gosh. I'm going to, since I'm the last one to go into this portal, so what I'm going to do is once I get through the portal and I see everything that's happening, I'm just going to have 2 Eldritch Blasts on deck, one going towards Alice, one going to the cheeked up monster.
Cheeked up monster.
All right.
Oh, now I roll. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Roll.
So the first one is 13, and then the second one is 27.
Okay. So the first one is towards the person on the floor. The thing on the floor. And that is going to crash into the black stone. Just besides Upree's hammer hit.
Damn.
And the one going towards Alice is going to hit her right before she is tackled by Salvador. So you see this Eldritch Blast pummel her in the chest, and it knocks the wind out of her, so she crumples in as you grab her around the waist and pin her to the ground.
Got him. That's Yonsei's reaction. Got him.
Alice, what the hell do you think that you're doing?
It's a great question, honestly.
That is a great question. I really envisioned this going quite differently. Would you all like to talk? There's much that I have to share with you.
You legit just brought us into a black hole, and you expect us just to talk? What the hell?
And we had quite an earful from somebody that knows you a lot better than we do.
Yeah,
Well, if I told you I had no other choice, would you believe me?
No.
Well, are you amenable to a conversation regardless?
Upree, hold.
Is there food?
If you want to kill us after I've said what I have to say, you may. But I do think that you want to listen to what he has to say. Wren. Or should I say Tristan?
Wren is gonna stand up and I guess there's not really dirt to brush off. It's like a weird glass stone floor.
Yeah.
Are there other seats at the table? Other chairs?
Yeah, it's like a fully set, feast.
Wren's then going to, just silently sit down. He's still in a bit of shock. He's still a little bit in that, what's going on sort of spot. So he's just gonna sit down and also, usher to Upree to sit down.
I guess
because we're on this. I feel like we're on the same side of the table at this point.
Yeah. I will hesitantly and confusedly sit down in a chair next to Wren. Is there water?
Yeah, there is a silver carafe.
Perfect. I'll take the whole carafe, I'll prop Fern up, and I'll start giving her some water. She's thirsty.
Fair.
Yeah.
I was like, I wouldn't drink that, but I guess it's a plan. Yeah, that'd be fine.
I mean, she eats corpses.
True.
Tim, as I look, is the portal that we came through, is that still open, or is that blooped out?
It's gone.
Okay, well,
The only things you see are the people in this room and the table set with a feast. And it is an extravagant table. It is this beautiful dark wood that's been like shaped and has silver inlays with like mother of pearl. There's silver platters, silverware, and then a feast set aside.
I'm going to look into Alice's eyes and I'm going to say, you lied to us before. Can I trust that you're not going to lie again? As I'm sitting on her.
What you can trust me to do with is,
Can I cast Stone of Truth first?
yeah,
Okay. And she has to do a charisma save, I think.
beautiful. I will do a charisma save.
And I know if she's lying or not. Or if she failed.
So she is going to fail because your charisma save is like
17.
17. Okay.
Oh, jeez.
She rolled a 12.
Got it.
So she's going to fail. And you know that she's failed. And so this is what she says. What you can trust me on is that our goals are momentarily aligned.
In that, explain further. What are our goals?
Or at least, to my knowledge, for the time being.
Very vague answer. But I guess you're our only way out of here, so.
That is very true. I don't believe that you can escape on your own.
Okay.
Hence, probably best for you to have this conversation.
I will acquiesce, and if you don't mind, if you offer your hands to me, I will tie them up.
I will oblige, though it really won't help.
I imagine so, since you probably have some very spooky powers of your own.
As that's happening, Beyonce's going to sit at the head of the table and prop their feet up. I mean, if we're going to be stuck here, might as well be comfortable.
Is there any candied bacon at the table?
Yes. Is there any candy bacon?
Does she know?
This is an important question.
There is.
Nice.
Oh, I am. Beyonce is eating the candy bacon.
And beyond that, there is the selection of food feels very targeted.
Wow.
It feels like all of your favorites are on the table.
Like near where we're sitting?
On the table, not specifically set at like a specific place setting.
All right.
But let me describe what is happening over by Wren. So as you've dusted yourself off, you get up, you sit down in a chair at the table. Lark thing,
Oh, sure, yeah.
Cheeked up.
kind of sits up off the floor, brushes themselves up, off, slowly picks themselves up, and they walk towards the table, and at first they go to, like, embrace you. Like, they lean in. You see they lean in, and they kind of purse their lips, and then they pull away, and then they pull the seat next to you out. You hear it dragging along the floor, and they seem very measured and very, they're calculating what to do and what to say before they sit down, and they try to grab your hand to, like, hold in yours.
Wren is not looking at Lark, the Lark Desmond. What do we call him?
Imitator.
Lark? Dark?
Dark. I like dark.
Desark?
Lesmond.
Lesmond. I'm not looking at Lesmond. Wren is, like, staring at the place setting in front of him, so I'm assuming an empty plate with other things. And Upri can kind of tell that he's like almost hyperventilating, but like trying to not at the same time. And if Lesmond is going to try, and I can't say it, if Lark is going to try and Wren's going to pull away.
You see,
And, like,
he seems
wring his hands.
His face looks a little defeated, but he rests his hands in his lap, and just kind of lifts his face up towards you and just like looks at you. You see this like sadness in his eyes, and that like little shimmer of innocence, but it feels faded. He doesn't have that same glint in his eyes that you remember.
I put you in the ground with my own 2 hands.
Ooh.
I know. I know what this might look like. But I promise you that it's me, Tristan.
Wesley, I know whatever happened to you is not your fault, but this is the last thing I thought I would encounter on our fucked up adventure. I just need a moment.
He nods.
Yeah, and Wren has not looked up from staring at the place setting in front of him.
Seeing that you're not really receiving him, you hear the crumpling of paper as the rest of you see him pull out a piece of paper from his pocket.
It's a love letter.
I have an inkling of what this is. You have an inkling of what this is.
Yeah.
The deed to a business that we will then run for the rest of the season.
No, I already own the deed to a business.
Oh, that's right.
Well, plot twist. Animal Crossing.
We own an island.
Welcome.
You hear him clear his voice a little bit, and almost strained and faint at first, he begins to read from the paper to you. And now that it's learned to dance and sing, a melody of joy takes the wing. In the wind, I hear you call my name, whispering secrets like an eternal flame. May the wind and grass guide you back through trails of memories, both gentle and black, to my arms where you belong and reside, in the warm embrace where love does confide. Unrolling blades of grass we stroll, hand in hand, a connection that makes us whole. I feel your hand in mine, a touch so divine, linked by destiny's thread, like an intricate design. Then, break my heart, you fair young thing. Words cut deep, the pain does sting. But even in heartache, my love remains true. For within its fractures, affection still shines through. So let the dance of life play its tune through highs and lows, under sun and moon, in the wind's embrace. our love will cling. A story of resilience, where heart and soul sing.
Upri can see a single tear rolling down his face.
You hear Upri just like start.
Wren will not, still not looking up, will take Lark's on the left side, right?
I think that's what I said.
Okay,
yes.
okay. I'm
Lark's
gonna
on
take the Lark side hand, which is I'm assuming is on my side based on how we're seating. And
Yeah.
still not looking up. Go. You were always a shitty poet.
Beyonce just cackles while
Yeah,
eating bacon. Ha ha! It was shitty.
Yeah, Wren like giggles like a little bit.
They also just giggle a little bit. You see their cheeks are wet with tears, and they crack the smallest smile, but their eyes are still sad. Their brows are turned down on the edges. You see the creases in the corners of their eyes, the crow's feet just squinting, trying to rub away the tears.
And I'm gonna do something maybe a little bit silly.
Mm-hmm.
I want to cast meld form on them, or on me, I guess is really what it is. But in like not a malicious way, not in a like I'm taking something way, but in a like a
Merging.
Bonding?
a bonding sort of way. But I want to direct it to only the Lark half, if I can do that.
Okay. I saw Chris
I have a question.
has a question.
Chris's boyfriend is also here. If we are,
Yeah.
Because I can't hear Lark's voice, so I just see Beyonce.
You can hear his voice.
Oh, I can
You just
hear-
can't see his face.
moving. I can't.
So,
I hear Lark's
you
voice,
hear
but I just
a
see
voice,
Desmond.
and it's coming from this body, but you are still seeing the illusion.
And Desmond's not talking.
oh, you don't
And
see the
Desmond's
double
not
boyfriend.
talking.
Yeah, it's only us three
So
for
you
now.
see.
So I think I'm going
You
crazy.
see Desmond sit down in this chair. You see the like
Is it Lark or me?
hands trying to hold, and then you hear this poem coming out of the body, but the mouth is not moving. And what the whole time, Desmond's face is not facing Lark.
It's just like
It's kind of just like turned towards you. And you just see him like smiling, just like he gives you a little wink
Oh,
as
my
this is
God.
all going on.
I turn to Alice and say, "What the fuck, Alice?"
Oh, you got Silas swearing. Now you know shit's real.
Because I
I honestly forgot your name for your character name. I was like, oh my god, I'm such a mood. What's Chris's character again?
but yeah,
Okay.
because Sal's thought about Desmond for the last 5 years because he's been gone. He's had survivors go for this amount of time, and thinking back on it, he's seen him 2 times. One through a 3-inch hole, one through a foot hole. He's been fixating on this person for 5 years. He thought he got clarity or closure from the whole Valerian thing, and now he's just the whirlwind romance with bartenders are here.
Yeah.
His heart is all messed up, and with his complicated Upri Yonsei Wren sang shitty poem, and this
We're over here giggling.
Sal's just having a freak out. He's gonna usher Alice to a chair, and he's just gonna sit and he's gonna look at Desmond, and he's gonna look at him and say, "What's going on? Tell me. Why are you here? How'd you get here? What do you remember? Also, hello."
So that is happening. I'm doing like time calculations in my head to keep these synced up.
Yeah.
And so I think as you grabbed Alice to sit her down.
Yeah, I
So
tied
you
her
sit
up. I bound her hands with some rope
Okay,
and-
so you're going through that process. So the poem is being recounted during your tying up. So we're going to get to meld form. And can you remind me and the audience what meld form does?
Yes. Let me pull out my piece of paper that has it on there. And we'll see if I can fuck with the spell a little bit. You gain an attribute of the target creature resulting in a temporary feature per the DM's discretion. If the attribute results in the manifestation of an extra appendage, which that's not what I'm going for, just so we're clear. This appendage operates on its own turn, but shared initiative, potentially granting an additional attack each turn, such as a tentacle, and then it goes on to the appendages, AC, hit points, DC, Constitution saving throw, things like that. But I guess because my thoughts are that Wren probably has weird feelings about this interaction. One, because dead boyfriend. Two, also because in a previous episode, watchers, listeners, Wren had lost his all of his carnal urges.
Yes.
So those feelings that used to be there for Lark or anyone really are gone, and I'm wondering if I can somehow reclaim those through meld form. And you can choose whether or not that can happen.
Interesting.
But
interesting.
honestly, give
Not where I thought
inspiration
this
to
was
that.
going.
Yeah, because I mean, like I
No,
think
you're right.
I think
That's
that-
inspiration.
I think the desire is to have checking that off inspiration. I think the desire is to somehow pull part of Lark's soul, maybe not like pull it out, but like copy part of it to be part of me.
Y'all.
It's like a Xerox.
Wow,
I'm Xeroxing.
okay.
I'm Xeroxing.
Can you
half of
Xerox a
Lark.
soul?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Xerox a soul.
I don't want like a weird. I don't want to like grow a gem out of my head, which feels like might happen.
Okay.
I also want to make sure that everyone knows that Yonsei is still eating bacon at this point.
Yeah.
Because none of this has
It's
anything
like
to do with him.
popcorn. It's like
Yeah, you
popcorn
just-
at a theater. You're just like, ooh,
I'm like-
what's
Bacon
happening?
bits over
I wonder
here.
what the other cheeked up face is going to do. It's going to do some slam poetry.
It's probably going to do sea shanty.
The gem of my eye
No.
is complete in the tides.
Okay.
I'm hilarious.
So I'm gonna ask you to do a roll for me.
Okay. I have inspiration now. So.
I did just give you inspiration, so you are welcome to use that for the thing that gave you inspiration.
Okay.
Um,
What do you need?
I feel like Arcana makes the most sense to me right now, but if you have some sort of alternative that you would like to offer me.
Arcana is honestly probably one of my stronger ones for this
Okay.
particular thing. And
Medicine?
no, not medicine.
Yeah, we're dealing with the soul.
Well, yeah.
Religious.
I was like, medicine's
yeah,
not going to work. Medicine would be
religion
great.
I could
I've got a great medicine
potentially
check.
accept.
No, it's gonna be. I mean, Arcana. I mean, they're the same. I think
Okay.
Arcana is what it would be.
Yeah.
All right, give me that Arcana roll.
Is that intelligence?
It is, but
I'm not proficient. Do I have a weird intelligence thing that I can do?
I just now realize all our partners are dead. We are really not good at keeping our
it is
partners
the-
alive.
who's Yonsei's partner?
Blades.
Oh, yeah, Blades. Yeah.
I could bring him back too.
I would like
Do you
to
want
point
a
out
We already
that
did that. No, we already did
Upri ain't never had no partner.
Yeah, Opry also did.
She's still single,
Oh,
ready to mingle.
I am going to use inspiration because I rolled a 2. Oh, that's not much better. That is a 13 total.
All right, so it's gonna partially work.
Okay.
And so
I'll take that.
let me describe.
I don't get advantage because he's my boyfriend.
You already had inspiration.
Yeah, but I can use it. Roll again with advantage.
Well, this might actually end up working slightly better
Okay.
in your favor.
Good.
Maybe. I don't know. This is all gray territory. So how do you meld form? Like, do you touch him?
Yeah, we're holding hands at this point.
Okay, so you do end up
Yeah.
grabbing his hands.
I don't need to touch. It's a 15-foot distance,
Yeah.
so as long as I'm within range.
Beautiful.
But we are.
So you take his hands in yours and you delve into that special magic. I don't know what else.
Special
to call it.
touchy-feely magic.
Yes. And
Is it gross? I know.
you start to pull him into you. You feel that like energy flow.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts in your hands, and you start to feel this coldness. That's tingly coldness that starts to tendril up your arms. It doesn't hurt, but it's like icy hot.
It's like warm but cold.
So it's kind of tingly, or like tiger's balm. Like if you took
okay.
tiger's balm
Not a
and
sponsor.
dragged it from the tip of your finger up your forearm onto your shoulders and towards your chest. That's what it feels like, that motion. And as it reaches your heart, you start to hear the whispers. Oh, you know these whispers.
Oh yeah, I do.
Join us. They're
To our party.
the similar flavor. They're not saying join us. They're less cohesive, less... You can't make out exactly what they're saying, but you recognize the tonality. And that starts to just fill you up as this like faint veil that like it's like fuzziness in your mind, or like a foggy the fogginess you get in the morning replaced by these whispers as this just like constant lull. And then you start to feel Lark. You start to feel his the playfulness is not there anymore, but there are parts of him you do still recognize. There's the awe and wonder that he would see in all things, regardless of how shitty the poetry is.
It was pretty shitty.
It's not great.
It was not great.
I really liked it.
Of course you did.
What's that about me?
His like ability to just express something, and that deep well of sadness that you've always known that this all comes from, that like happy, joyful, innocent, playful facade, that just like deep well of sadness. And that is where you finally feel the like pangs in your chest, and that's what you bring into you. Mechanically,
Yes. What does that mean?
this is going to give you 5 temporary hit points
Ooh. I'll
that regain at dawn.
Nice.
As you have actually pulled in part of the crystal. And it is kind of necromantic.
That's fine.
Like, it feels undead, but it's not necromancy. I mean, you probably haven't dealt with necromancy too much to like really be able to decipher between the two. But
But also
this
my
is
dead
not,
boyfriend is back,
This
so
is
we
not
can assume.
live shit.
How do my carnal urges feel?
You're a little bit peckish.
There,
You want to tap that dead boyfriend?
you'd like to kiss him right now, probably.
Oh,
So we're working up to that.
Yeah.
She's
like
putting
you feel
the romantic and necromantic.
that
Yeah.
little quiver of your lip.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't have quite all of my urges back, but some of them, we'll work on it.
So this is so beautiful, wonderful, heartfelt moment happening. But Salvador, we have to
Right.
actually get to your questions. So you finished tying up Alice. She is seated. This is the longest time it's going to take to basically explain 6 seconds of time.
Yeah.
You've been here for under a minute.
Combat.
You've been here for a very, very, very short amount of time. I guess a poem was read, so that is probably the longest amount of time that has passed.
Yeah.
You finished tying up Alice, and Desmond's face is still looking at you.
I see Wren slowly caressing Desmond's hand.
No, just holding.
Oh, God, just holding his hand.
The hand, and did you ever caress his face or anything?
No, I'm still not looking at
Okay,
him.
you're still not looking at him, so you're looking
work
down
in
his
progress.
hands.
I'm having a lot
He's
of
just
fun.
he's kind of almost crumpled in on himself. Just the body is very sad looking. The face for you, Salvador, is elated.
Yeah.
He is so happy to see you. And he gets up. So Wren, all of a sudden you're in this really emotional, intimate situation, and the figure stands up.
Oh, okay.
And as you glance, you still see the two faces, the crystal gemmed. It's this horrifying monstrosity, construct of. It's nasty. But Desmond stands up, walks over to Salvador, and leans into him, and he goes, "Salvador, it is so good to see you. I wish I could tell you how this happens, but I really truly can't. I just have a hunch. Maybe we all can make sense of it together, but and then the illusion drops and you see the two faces. He goes, "Yeah, I have some extra company with me now."
It's putting it lightly.
And you see the expressions on what you assume to be Lark's face. And that's not even the start of it. There's this one, and hopefully I'm back after I let her out.
Who's her?
And you see his face goes blank. Lark's face goes blank. And that smoky female visage that you all saw at the beginning before it dropped kind of just comes from the crystal. The smoke that was kind of surrounding that crystal fades down, and then you see this face appear over this canvas of other human faces. And so it's the smoke screen on top of this monstrosity.
I already hate her.
I really hate having to be put away like that, but we are doing a sharing situation now.
Beyonce drops the bacon. The fuck is this?
And this is when Alice speaks. Well, Upright. That's not Alice's voice. Well, Upri, do you remember when we were searching for the Temple of Freya?
Oh, yeah, you mean Pampan. And
She motions to the figure. Well, we found her.
wait,
And the smoke figure just smiles and just kind of sits back in her hip.
Wait.
you're telling me that Smoke is the big titty statue lady?
It is my newest form, yes.
So you're a god.
I was supposedly worshipped as one.
Oh, fair enough.
Oh, work diva. Actually, I like her now.
I was mortal, though. And that's where it all gets very complicated.
And question, who are you dating? Alice? Oh,
Ooh.
What was that?
who are you dating?
It's... I think they're long dead at this point. They lived thousands of years ago.
Oh, my condolences. But you're available.
I think I'm over it now. Are you flirting with me?
I don't think so.
Just talking.
Honestly, seeing all this, I think maybe dating ain't for me.
It's
Maybe I'll just get a dog.
probably already complicated enough. And she looks at Salvador and Wren, who are really so, like, dumbfounded.
I got
right
my head in
now.
my hands.
Beyonce
Oh my
picks up the
gosh.
bacon again and continues eating.
Yeah, Ren has poured some wine. I don't care if it's poisoned at this point, but has poured some wine and started
Oh,
drinking.
I've been drinking it. It's fine.
Okay.
Well, that is where it gets very complicated. So I was apparently, to my knowledge now, worshipped as a demigod for like thousands of years. There were temples constructed to me and all sorts of things. And I can't explain why. I was pretty studious and excelled a lot in my classes at the college, but a god? Was I really that powerful?
Isn't this the god that's full up, like she's curvy too?
Yeah, this is she was worshipped as the god of fertility.
Yeah.
And that was where Alice and Upri originally found the temple to Freya in the Enchanted Forest.
Okay.
What are you doing here?
Well, my memory is quite hazy on the subject. But the last thing I remember doing in life was signing a contract.
Oh.
I'm so sorry. My condolences.
And it felt really important. It felt like... I remember meeting these, like... They were like lights. They were like radiant beings. There were 3 of them? Maybe 4? Hard to remember. And they were immense. It felt like... Because that's all I can remember is the feeling, really. And just glimpses, flashes, truly. It felt like everything in their wake was influenced by them. And I remember being sad. Very, very sad and angry. And I knew that I had to sign this contract for it all to end. And this is when you hear Daphne's voice chime in. This time everyone can hear her. She's projecting through Upri, so if you were like moving your ears towards Upri, that's where you hear it coming from. That would be the great cycle, Freya.
I'm sorry, who is this? Who are we speaking to now?
Oh, hello, Wren. It's so nice to meet you. I think the last time I was projecting, it was quite a chaotic situation.
How many people are in this damn crystal?
Yeah, what's going on
Wait,
here?
It's a party line.
The Daphne's coming out of the crystal, not me.
Are those-
No, from you.
Yeah.
Does anyone else hear that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Upper, I've been scrying on you for ages. Ever since I gave you that little bracelet in the void. You know, the friendship one.
Oh, I remember you now.
D plus
How you been, girly?
Well, things could be better. But at least I'm not where you are.
Oh, she got humor.
She got jokes.
But I do think that I could jump in here and clarify some of the confusion. Most kind of. I really, truly, I'm only going to be piecing the puzzle together in conjunction with Alice and Freya. I'm afraid.
That would be appreciated, mysterious voice from the
Daphne.
beyond. Daphne, thank you. Well met, I guess. But yeah, any sort of information on what the hell is going on would be appreciated.
What I believe Freya is referring to is the Great Cycle. She was probably part of it in the last turn. Now, I really only get the visions of a wheel turning, so this has been pieced together by my companion here in the Underkeep, Cyril. He helps me make sense of these things, but they start out as, pretty obscure visions. I've been trying to supplement them with things from Alice and Freya, but this is what we have so far. There's this near extinction event that happened at some point thousands of years ago. But the records are so thin on what actually happened. Just whispers from our historians. But as quickly as this event happens, it disappears. And I'm assuming that has something to do with the contract that Freya signed. There's a moment of silence.
So, am I to understand that Freya's signing of said contract stopped this extinction level event?
I believe so. I remember only death afterward, I think, but I was still conscious of what happened. That's actually where my memory begins. Watching the world build itself back up.
Oh, so you've been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Yes, a very long time. And a very far expanse of space, too.
This is what the Veil had been researching as well. Remember in the library where we got that book about the cycle
Oh,
and the games that the
right.
Titans play?
Yeah.
Beyonce is gonna look at everything that's happening and say, all right, I think I'm kind of understanding this, but what the hell does Alice have to do with any of this?
All of our heads will whip over to Alice.
She's a harbinger.
She clasps her hands and smiles.
Don't smile, it's weird.
She's kind of still tied up, so she's clasping her hands with the rope around it. It's quite loose at this point, but she's kept the cord on for Salvador's comfort.
Thanks, dear.
Well, I'm the herald.
Oh.
Of who?
Destruction.
Of the void?
The void.
That is what they call me. The silence.
Mm-hmm.
Although, I must admit that while I agree that I contain capacity for destruction, I fear I've been co-opted by them.
They can control you?
Not control, but I do apologize. I may have aided them for a time in the beginning when I misunderstood their objectives. I knew I was important. I've always seen them. Those visions, you remember the paintings from just a moment before in the Vale?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen them ever since... well... ever since we were in the temple, Upri.
Like, saw them in your mind?
Yes and no. Many of them were so real and physical, tangible. When I would go to bed at night and drift away.
Yeah, we got a record of that right here. I pull out all the diary and all
Your
the
entire
drawings,
journal.
all of her journal and all the drawings that she made.
There's
Oh.
our nerd back to their
Oh, yeah.
old self.
She's got some spooky.
Handouts. We can show,
Spooky handouts.
Some of those.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, spooky handouts.
I got so
Look
many
at
spooky
those.
drawings.
Oh, wait.
Oh, you must have been in Valerian
Oh, wait,
then.
this is upside down. There we go.
And you found my journals. Oh, and all of my... oh, those... I haven't seen those in a while.
I don't want to see him again.
Burn.
So, am I to understand then? Again, I'm still trying to piece all these things together. The silence is almost acting like a herald on their own. You assisted them to, like, help move the process along of this end time.
I can tell you that they believe that I will bring about the end time.
Yeah.
kinda
That
feels
I
like
am
you
the catalyst.
Did?
But also, why did you have to bring us into this void in order to tell us all this? It could have been, we could have easily sat in the tunnels and you could have explained all of this instead of disappearing and then we had a fight and then there's those weird ass pictures. I mean, I appreciate the bacon. I mean, it's delicious. It's high quality. And I love the cheeked up demon, whatever the hell this is. But after all of this, my brain is broken. I am... Beyonce is confused.
Well,
She had lost her memory.
that has a lot to do with Vladlin.
Purdue?
Yeah.
Purdue. I couldn't let him take you.
He's one small old man, and we are 4 people.
We could have took him.
I will also say Salvador has a huge crush on me.
I do not. That's gonna no.
You did say he was handsome.
I said one
Exactly.
time. You say one thing and it's never forgotten.
I fear more of how persuasive he can be given time and grooming.
Ooh. Bad word choice. Oh, no. Never mind.
He
He's
is-
evil.
He is an extra-temporal because he talked about how he can see multiple timelines.
Oh, yeah. I do
right.
remember that. That happened a few minutes ago. Before
Now, I don't believe he's truly evil, but his influence is dangerous. That I wholeheartedly believe in.
Beyonce's gonna put their hands up. All right, let me just get this all together with my noggin. The funny thing is, Vadlin said that you were evil. Now you're saying that he's evil. Like, what is really the truth? And
No,
who
not
really
evil. Just
fine,
Okay.
chaotic neutral.
let me try to take this from a different perspective. I understand that this is all very complicated, and it is crucial that you understand the role that you are to play in the events that are to come.
Wait, I think I understand.
Beyonce whips their head at you. What?
So, Jan, TLDR, I believe that's what the kids say nowadays.
It's true. I read it in a book.
There was this cycle that happened every 1,000 years that would basically destroy the world, and then new worlds would appear or something like that. And then Freya saw this happen and then signed a contract with celestial beings to stop the cycle from repeating so that the world wouldn't get destroyed because she was big sad. And then the Silence figured that out through, I don't know, nerd shit. I'm sure Sal could weigh in on that. And then they found Alice, who is the herald or the catalyst that will bring about a new cycle, undoing the contract Freya signed. But Alice doesn't want that, but the Silence and Vladimir Purdue do, so they're in opposition, and neither one is inherently evil or bad. They both believe what they're doing is probably morally just. Did I get that right?
Honestly, much more so than I anticipated. Sorry, I'm so sorry, Aubrey. That was not very nice. But yes, for the most part.
Wait, did you just insult me?
Drink your wine, sweetie.
I pour you more wine.
Yeah.
It gets the blood flowing.
Yeah.
Makes the brain juices.
Yep.
more
I want to
potent.
be honest. That actually helped a lot. Thank you, Aubrey. So I guess my final question is: How do we fit into all of this?
Oh,
Like,
yeah. Why are we here?
Thank you. I've been
Oh.
asking this all seasons.
That would be the Titans.
Oh.
You are familiar with them,
And are they part of the cycle?
correct?
So are
I
we
believe.
also heralds?
I mean, if what Daphne says is true, then yes. If this is all part of the cycle, they are, I guess, the destructive element?
Aubrey's gonna look up. Yeah. Daphne, what is your stake in all this?
Oh yeah, you can't see that.
Daphne speaks, because I really need to make sure that you could differentiate between all of my voices, because there are so many.
All the three ladies. Yeah.
All the three ladies are all
she's
kind of
Southern.
breathy and airy and wielty. So
We'll get you different hats.
Daphne begins to speak again, just in the ether. Well, I believe that my role is really just to help you all. Honestly, it's I can't help but the visions that I see. It's just been my prerogative to do something with them.
So you were also anti-cycle.
I don't know if I have come to a conclusion on that. And I do think that a lot of this conversation might be best with Cyril here. He really is such a blessing in terms of making sense of all this. And I do think that we're all coming at it from different perspectives and with different pieces of information. And all I can tell you is that I see this as a cycle. There is destruction, and there is repetition, and there is something that stops it every time.
And that's good?
Well, it doesn't sound like it's good if it keeps going, if it's a cycle. So what I'm hearing is that you're bringing us along so we can finally end this cycle for good. Am I right?
Alice chimes in. I believe that the common sense thing would be to say that stopping it is good. However, I cannot shake the feeling that I'm drawn to the destruction. And I don't know what that means. Why would it feel so good?
I mean, destruction just feel like that, Alice. It's perfectly natural to want to fuck shit up. I'm just saying.
And honestly, sometimes the most painful things feel good, so maybe you should probably stay in this void.
Daphne chimes in. Yancey, I do believe we'll want her with us. If anybody has more pieces of the puzzle, it's her.
Well, is there any way we can kind of tone down the destructive elements that she so urgently is feeling?
Well, I am no longer in control of them. The silence have been enacting everything that you've experienced. That is not me. What I am capable of is so much worse.
You're not really selling it here.
But I have managed to hold it back. It's not ready. It's not time.
Pause that thought. I think we need to do a group huddle and discuss everything that we have just heard, because from the cheeked up person to whatever's happening in Upree's head that somehow made Upree smarter, and this, there's a lot happening, and it's kind of more confusing now that it's making more sense.
Right. Can I ask one question before we huddle? As I raise my hand, I don't know why I'm doing that.
Yeah, who are you talking to?
Good question.
The room.
The room.
I forget who had mentioned there were a lot of voices, a lot of ethereal voices going on. Someone had mentioned that we, I guess, holders of the Titans, or people of the Titans, our role in this was the destruction. Right? That's what was said. The Titans are part of the destructive process.
Alice speaks. Kind of like on edge. Like she's like on edge, like takes a deep breath and goes, well, that's my theory. Freya seems to believe that your goal is to reject the Titans and sign the contract.
Thus preventing another cycle.
Or
thus repeating the cycle.
That's what
Or
Freya did.
what I believe,
But
and
after.
you will just have to understand that this comes from the place of utmost love for this world. I believe that you are to embrace the Titans and use that destructive force to break out.
Oh, because if we let the destruction continue and not sign the contract with the celestial beings, then the destruction continues, potentially extinction level destruction, but the world would reset and not there be out of the cycle.
So, irregardless,
Great use of words.
all of our... What's so funny?
No, this is Dan laughing? Not Ren laughing.
Irregardless, all of our loved ones and ourselves will die either way, is what we're getting at.
I don't know what the signing of a contract necessarily means.
But either way,
it
the
seems like we're
world...
potentially risen to godhood, but maybe not really risen to godhood, just worshipped as gods, but we're stuck in some crystal somewhere.
Yeah.
So it's essentially, there's one person on one train track and 5 on the other. Who do we, when you can only switch it, who do we save? Do the need of the few outweigh the needs of the many?
Right. But
So as you say the godhood part, you see Freya does like a little curtsy bow, and her head, the top of her head, comes down towards you for you to see the crystal. And she goes, "This is what I became."
I've seen this.
A rock.
You have, Salvador. They mined us, dug us up from the ground.
Who? The Celestials or the Silence? Or Titans?
The silence.
I see.
oh, so you were which Titan, if you don't mind me asking?
No Titans
No.
for my turn.
Oh,
Not that I remember. This is all very hazy. My memory begins at the point of becoming a crystal,
oh, right.
a
Post-con.
guardian. But as you can see, while I was once pure and clear, I have become corrupted.
From my time in the prison, during my escape, I'd seen them doing these experiments. I didn't know. I imagine they weren't silence people to begin with, but they might have been in Galatia. And they jammed a crystal into a man's head, and this spooky black smoke came out of it. And the person was controlling it with a staff. Yeah. So I imagine that is the fate of our dear Desmond, that he, much to my fear, that he had been turned into a super soldier of some sort with a crystal on his head. And probably
They dug up my dead boyfriend to do this. That is wild. That is
very odd.
Honestly, actually iconic.
work, sir.
Work. That's Kai
Well,
speaking.
he was a Hajj,
Oh, that's
Oh,
true.
right. They're part of the family.
And Desmond was part
and
of
Desmond was available.
yeah.
Damn. Wow.
Oh.
Double homicide.
And Ren, you felt it when you bonded with our form.
Yeah.
That whisper. That is the corruption that I have been guarding against for millennia. It has slowly seeped into myself and become a part of me. It is insistent. It will never stop pushing into this realm. And I believe that is why we had to sign the contract. To become these guardians. It was a sacrifice of ourselves for the continuation of the planet.
So if we sign this contract, we essentially... we kind of forget who... It sounds like we kind of forget who we were, in a sense, and we become something else. Do you remember anything about your past life?
Only distant almost dreamlike flashes.
So if we do this, or if we follow the same path as Freya, everything that we've been working on, we won't even really remember. Up our family, we won't even remember them.
And it won't just be you. The whole world forgets.
The whole world.
These events are almost fully wiped from history. The fact that Daphne was able to find anything on this matter is surprising. I myself only came across a soul journal.
So the world essentially hits a reset button. Not button, reset something. Switch.
Or it dies and doesn't reset. Either way, we die.
Yeah, I guess that's inevitable anyway.
That's why I was reading all those stories. It seems the strongest memory has been muddled, but passed down from generation to generation in song and tale, losing its original meaning. But the history is still there.
Trying to think how Rumpelstiltskin fits into this, because that was one of her handouts.
Come again?
I go through Alice's whole things. There's the Tale of the Mud Shapers, which is very reminiscent of the Titans. You have the forgotten one, you have the one that eats the other ones, you have the one that puts all the dolls together.
That'd be right.
Yeah.
Rumpelstiltskin, I couldn't find any connection in either,
Yeah.
but I was really grasping at straws. The Mud Shaper, though, that one seems particularly strong.
So it sounds like we need this Cyril character to really help us put the pieces together. You can't call him into this.
Well, it takes time, unfortunately, to make sense of all of the visions. There's so much research to be done. I mean, just the cycle alone was hours and hours and weeks of poring over textbooks and history books and interviewing historians and other great mages, beings of immense age, just to determine the pieces all fell together. We have resources here in the Underkeep that don't exist anywhere else in the world.
So group huddle.
But I have one more tidbit to share, and that is where I see the final moments falling. There is a tower in the heart of Everfear. On maps, you might see it referred to as the Sunken Tower. And this is where the cycle ends and begins anew.
But Alice, I thought that you had already gone to the Sunken Tower. This is the one in the Pelican Mountains, or is that a different tower?
Alice speaks. That was Daphne. Sorry.
Got it.
Daphne was doing oracle shit. Alice speaks. She chimes in. Yes, I did go to the sunken tower, the silence was quite enamored with the location. I left before things got too intense, so to speak. They were conducting so many horrible experiments. The last one was our dear Amalgam. And she motions over to Lark, Desmond, Freya.
Can I see through the illusion now, or do I still see?
He dropped the illusion.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. He dropped the illusion so that you could see his true form. Their true form.
Fridezark.
Let's just name them Ruth.
Or because his name is actually Wesley, it could be Fridesley. So it rolls off the tongue a little bit
I
more.
love it.
Does it?
Better than Fridezark.
What about Ruth? This was a lot of information. Truly thank you.
So we'll meet back next week.
Alice. We truly thank you, Alice. Ruth. The person that's in Upri, whose name I want to say Destiny.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Child, we have a lot to discuss. But it kind of just seems like a real Sophie's choice. We had this person in the woods called Sophie, and she never could choose between apples and oranges. Either way, it was just never going to work out for her. So it just seems like a real Sophie's choice.
Yeah, because either
Lose
way,
your
the
train of
apples and
thought
oranges die.
Yeah.
Exactly.
we all die, whether somebody picks apples or oranges.
But seriously, thank you. We just need to just give us a moment to kind of process this, because this has been a lot that has happened in the past 10 minutes.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, if we could have a huddled moment in private, and I don't know, Daphne, if you could, I don't know how
Take
to,
5.
Yeah, take clock out for 5 seconds.
Maybe I'd take a bathroom break if you can pee in there.
Everybody's like facing Upri and saying this. I can step out. Well, I can part ways until we meet again in the Underkeep.
Okay.
Where is question for the DM? Player question. I know, wild. Is it generally known where the Underkeep is?
Not to people outside the Enchanted Forest. And even within the Enchanted Forest, it's still more of a rumor.
Would Upri and Beyonce know where the Underkeep is?
No.
Not really. However, the Enchanted Forest is real funny.
Yeah, you kind of like know where things are, but also never.
There's also randomly talking squirrels there. It's like, what's up with that?
Oh.
There's a magic that, I mean, it's the Enchanted Forest.
Sure.
So there is a magic that is like omnipresent.
So, like, if we walk into the Enchanted Forest with the intention of finding the Underkeep,
You
might
have
find
a
the
conversation with the ecosystem of Arcane.
As a non-caster, I don't know what that means. But Daphne, if we needed to find you, the Underkeep per se, let's say that is our next destination, how might we do so?
I believe I can assist there. And as she says that, you feel a warm glow on your wrist, Upri. The friendship bracelet begins to glow slightly, and you feel a faint tugging.
Props.
All right. I'm gonna let it tug me.
So
currently in a
right now
void
you're in
pocket.
like a weird void dimension. Oops. You're in a weird void dimension, so it doesn't really know where to tug you. Kind of just like lifts. You feel it lifting your wrist up, but then it just doesn't.
Upper looks like she's trying to find cell service.
Yeah.
It also will keep flies away.
What?
It's coated with citronella. whatever it's called.
Yeah, so
Y'all,
we are
did you
using a prop that
coat
is
my
a
bracelet when I
citronella
was sleeping?
bracelet for those listening who cannot see it very clearly.
Oh, that's rather pleasant.
It is, isn't it?
All right, so we
That's
have the
really
wave get there.
cool.
Thank you, Daphne. Team huddle. And I try and shoo her away. I don't know how to do it. Just around. I'll bring.
Hello? Okay, I think we're good.
So, I guess our next stop is the Enchanted Forest / Underkeep. If we want to figure out more what's going on and how to figure out what's going on, and if it does come down to the four of us, then we should get as much information as possible. And that would bring us, Yancey, where you could probably visit your family on the way.
I'm just still
Give a little
I'm just still kind of. I didn't realize this prophecy had anything to do with me particularly. I mean, I've usually been out of it. So it's kind of new that I'm actually part of it now, which I guess changes the stakes.
I guess
But-
that's it. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
But I would really like to see my family, especially if what Lucy says is true. That'll probably be some of the last times we get to spend time with them.
I mean, it'd be on the way, right? Based on what you've told me about it's in the Enchanted Forest.
It's big.
Yeah, I mean, anything can be on the way if you want it
If you want it to be.
Intention, yeah.
Okay.
Geography is a little loose-goose in there.
Okay.
It's pretty much a Venn diagram. Sometimes things match up, some things don't.
And they have a tendency to shift. It is a living ecosystem.
Yeah.
Our mailing address is really messed up every so often.
Do you just like throw a letter into the woods and
A deer picks it up.
a deer picks it up and walks and finds the address?
Well, actually, the talking squirrels that I mentioned, they actually do a mail service.
Oh.
Yeah, it's actually
Very
quite
cool. That's
yeah.
actually really neat.
I'm gonna to like Wren and say I've never seen a talking squirrel.
Has no one ever sent you a letter before?
I don't know what that is.
I'm
A
also
squirrel? You don't know what a squirrel is?
No, that you stop that.
I want to understand what you're trying to tell me.
I ain't never seen a talking squirrel in the forest.
Okay.
Maybe that's the bacon talking.
I'm gonna do the same thing too.
Oh, it's definitely loud enough for you to hear that.
They don't really like Upri since the incident. Another story for another time.
Oh,
Interesting.
Okay, all right. Well, now is not the time to dive into weird squirrel. We'll have plenty of time on the road to go over stories.
So we're doing this.
So,
I think so.
I mean, the other option is to do nothing and let the destruction of the world happen. Seems to be the alternative.
When you say it like that, you make it sound like it's a bad. Actually, it is pretty bad.
pretty
We should
bad.
probably become
Right?
gods.
Right? It's
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
I mean, but then we reset the cycle, but then I guess life continues, and I guess
But ours
the
don't.
mystery of not knowing what happens if we let the destruction happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but there has to be a way we can just stop it for good. It just.
I mean, that
can't-
would be ideal. But the only
Sorry, go ahead.
the only way we're going to learn more about it seems like is in Daphne's presence. And I have wanted to see the Underkeep. I've always been told that it wasn't real. And now, I mean,
Maybe
not that
it
I quite,
isn't.
not that I, well, that's the thing. Not that I quite trust Daphne yet, but worth a try, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Let's go home, Yon.
Home.
So we have. Remember the planetarium, the solar system that we found in the castle?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
We know that alignment of planets. I wish I would have asked Daphne about that, but we know that alignment is probably some issue with the cycle. So we have less than 9 months, I think, until that happens, which I imagine would be the event that they talked about, the great resetting. At least my memory of planetary alignments in popular culture.
Oh, that's actually a great question. Alice?
Yeah, there is math that I did do for this.
Alice, quick question for you. I'll just break the huddle a little bit.
Yes, my dear.
I don't like that.
Sup, dude?
Yes, sup, dude. This destruction, is it happening in waves leading up to a specific mass destruction, or is it all going to happen at once? Like, should we prepare for, like, what happened in Harrow, but on, like, a bigger... I'm assuming what happened in Harrow is part of...
Hero
What's
is
happening?
just the beginning.
Right, so we're
It's
going to see more of that over the next...
First that has crossed the border into Everfear.
Oh. So this is the first sighting of the end times.
Because I think this
Galadia has been experiencing this for
That was in the newspaper.
years.
That was the part of their war. That's why they
The
withdrew
ceasefire.
from the war.
They
right?
are spaced out. The silence has been enacting them, but they are speeding up as their numbers increase.
Wait, so I guess has the silence been responsible for all of the... Will the silence be responsible for all of the destruction? I guess destruction is destruction, whether it's natural or whether it's man-made, so...
They are the
Prophecies are
ones
prophecies.
creating
Shadows of prophecy, sorry.
the tears in the fabric between our plane and the void. Each tear allows the strength of the Titans to grow. It also lets everything else that lives in the void through. So while you may become stronger, the monsters are in quick pursuit.
Gotcha. So, like, cutting the head off the snake, aka the silence.
We'll stop them from continuing to break down the barrier.
But the barrier is going to break no matter what. Whether the silence helps or not.
I am what breaks the barrier in the end.
I mean this with, well, I don't know you well enough to give you respect for it, or to offer, so, what if we killed you?
Beyonce is like, oh.
Oh?
I thought about it. It was months that thought crossed my mind. And then I started to see my face more clearly in those images. And I was already gone. It doesn't matter. If my life has been ended, it is my form that creates the channel.
Oof, this is deep.
All right, well,
Road trip.
are we good? I hold thumbs up to our party.
Yeah.
Sounds
right.
like we don't have a choice.
I can place you back in Harrow. I cannot transport you very far. But I can get you out of the Vale.
I was gonna say, not in Harrow, ideally, because it's full of monsters.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Outside Harrow, okay.
By the refugee camp.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that'd be perfect.
That would be fantastic. That's
Oh my
got less
god, your
blood.
cat.
Well, yes.
Yeah, I have my cat.
Oh, it's been
Twilight's
here the whole
here.
time during all the drama.
He got sucked up in the black hole.
Great. Now I'm just picturing.
Can I get cat ears for
During
when I
trauma.
stream in the future?
Oh.
So I can pretend
Yes.
to be.
Please.
Oh, just slide it on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We need a
Go ahead.
cat boy. All right, are you ready to return?
Wait, before we go, I just grab all the bacon that's on the table and just put it, shove it in my pack.
Yeah, I toss back some wine too.
Yeah.
This is free. Get what you can before get it while the getting's good.
All right, so as you are grabbing food and drink off of the table, you see she holds out her hands and you see that black hole from before start to form in this room. It's a lot harder to see now because like the backdrop is black. But you can the light from the candles on the table you can see are warped around that. And you start to feel the pull towards it.
While that's happening, I'm gonna go up to Freya. What will you do?
That's a good question. I was planning on staying with Alice but honestly, I was...
Alice is coming with us, right? Isn't that what we established? She's gonna come with us to the Underkeep.
Yes.
Okay. We're gonna need to find you a better outfit, a better look. If we're gonna be traveling
Shopping
through public. Something.
Sorry.
Would you like to see them again?
Well, if they're coming with us, then, or are you going to travel separately? I'm confused on what the logistics of traveling together means.
So her face dissipates. And you
You
see
didn't answer my question.
her face reanimate. Oh, good, right? We're all good now?
I think
Wren?
so. I don't know what your selves are doing.
And he's going to like lunge at you to give you like a hug.
Oh.
I'll accept a hug.
And so this monstrosity, which is like, it is two human forms like stitched together. So it is larger than Lark. It's a pretty large hulking beast of a flesh sack. And it just like wraps its arms around you. Logistically, I think it's still like, I think it's like at the shoulder that they're kind of merged together.
Yeah.
So it's very wide. So Lark's right shoulder and Desmond's left shoulder are like mashed together, so they don't have that arm.
So you're getting squished between
So
two
they're not, like-
sewn together torsos that have exterior arms that are wrapping around
Yeah,
you.
so they only have. So Lark only has it's Lark's left arm, Desmond's right arm.
Oh, when you said their shoulders are smashed together, I thought you meant like they were like on top of each other.
Well,
but no, they're like
cut in half.
if you like bisect them and then stitch them together.
So they're not bisected down the sternum, like the center of the sternum. They both have their hearts present. Like both of their
Oh.
entire torsos are present. So they're really
You're getting nestled
wide.
in the conjoined bosom.
Are both of their
between-
face? Are they have the entire heads? I was imagining their faces were
Like
like
Two-Face.
literally cut down the middle.
No,
I thought they
It's
were like
literally
cheek to
they were
cheek.
cut like
They're,
their
like,
arms get cut off and then they're
Oh.
smushed.
So they're
Got
like,
it.
yeah, smushed together.
Oh, when you were saying
There
cheek to
is
cheek, and I was
actually,
like,
just to make this even more disgusting than it needed to be, there is still like a gap between their necks.
Oh.
oh yeah, that's
So they can both
Where you put your head?
eat and drink separately.
where's the crystal then?
It's in the top of their head.
Both of their heads.
So when
So there
their
are two
their
crystals.
cheeks are
No.
it's in the
Their brain.
middle,
Oh, they got like a
wedged between
Oh,
their
it's like a
brains.
donut hole in between.
So both their skulls are open, their brains are out, and there is a crystal just jammed in there. And then they kind of like, you see that the flesh was kind of pushed back up into like a mound around all of this.
Facelift.
Stifle
on,
a vomit
facelift.
as I just kidding.
I'm so happy to eat like
It's
that.
I
horrifying.
will close my eyes and hug that half. I'm gonna aim for that half, the lark half.
You gotta put your arm around the neck hole.
But I still don't I still would like to the question answered. Are they coming with us?
Yeah, who? I thought they would stay here.
As they stop hugging you, they were not present in that conversation.
Oh.
But they grab your hand and they go to walk through the portal with you.
Okay, yeah, but if we're being dropped directly into Alice, hold please. If we're being dropped directly into the refugee camp,
Yeah.
no offense to you two, 3.
Maybe more.
Rin, I didn't see it because, I'm a master of seeing through illusions, but I believe they can disguise themselves like
As
they
one
did
person.
your dead.
Oh, you're right.
yeah.
Yeah, you.
They just look big.
Didn't fool me.
Yeah, deciding what vision they present is going to be a little bit of a discussion, but they could do it multiple.
Ooh.
So
Right.
remember, you all saw,
We saw
Different people.
different
Yeah,
people.
That's fair.
They are a many faces.
Okay, well,
Think of the shenanigans.
Yeah.
I hadn't mentally prepared myself to be traveling with my dead ex-boyfriend, but here we are.
So, they put back on their illusion to make you more comfortable.
Oh, I'm fine. Well, I mean, it's probably better.
So you see Lark. Desmond appears for Salvador.
What
Can we see something?
You can see
Do I see
your
Iron
choice. If you have a choice, do you want to see Freya? Do you want to see Lark or Desmond?
I'll see Freya, 'cause I don't care about
Or
these
you
other
could
two.
see like a little amalgamation of the three of them.
Actually, I prefer
If they
that.
all had a baby together.
The three of them.
Are they asking me this?
No, it's more of like, what does your psyche draw to?
Probably all three of them smushed together.
Okay.
Same.
So you see that, which I guess is a very androgynous figure that has like smoky skin. Like the skin's texture is smoke-like, but it is solid looking.
Works for me, and I
Almost kind of ASMR, I guess.
When they put on this facade, what does the area around their necks feel like? Like, does the
When
facade...
you touch them, you feel the body.
Like the actual body.
Yeah.
The actual
not
body.
The
Yeah.
illusion doesn't present.
That's why when you tackled them and you actually made physical contact, the illusion drops.
Gotcha. So you need to not touch any strangers.
wow, talk about possessive.
They nod kind of sadly, but
I just don't want to literally scare everybody in our vicinity.
understood.
And maybe we'll get you a hat or a cloak.
An umbrella at the least.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Are y'all stepping through the portal?
Yeah, I'm gonna run and just so I can be cool. I'm just gonna use my Eldritch Blast to propel me. But as I fall backwards into the black hole, I notice one piece of bacon that's left on the table. No, I forgot that one. I'm through the black hole.
I'll grab it.
You're through.
I'll grab it and eat it as I walk through.
Wren grabs the last piece of bacon and eats it.
I'll scoop Al, who is still tied. I'll just throw over my shoulder.
And I'll grab the other hand of the desolate. So we're like 3 by 3.
And you all through the portal. And that is where we are going to go on break.
Woo. Yeah. Lore.
So we're going to go on a 10-minute break. We will be back for some shenanigans in Harrow at the end of that break. So see you all then.
Heart's right.
So you all appear in the desert, near Harrow, near the refugee camp. Not quite in the middle of it. She does not drop you like dead square in the middle of a bunch of refugees. And as you like step out into the desert, you see the like aftermath of the chaos in Harrow. There's like smoke billowing. There's like sections of the wall, which was already in pretty bad shape. The outer wall is like crumbling down. And the refugee camp has moved away from the city. So you're now seeing it from a distance. So you got the trains going.
Cool.
Train was able to like get out, get back, grab people, and take them out to the quarry. They haven't like gone all the way to the Vale. So this is where things are a little tricky, because the Vale entrance is in the quarry. And the refugee camp is also right next to the quarry. So you're still not far away from the Vale.
Okay, we could probably hide ourselves in the crowds.
We're not distinguishable.
Yeah.
Oh, sarcasm.
Yeah.
I can hide myself in the crowds.
As Sal says, me holding Al, you just see her head's though. Yeah.
Her bustles, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you could put her down, right?
Oh, all right. Hold on. I'll place her in the sand.
Thank you, Apri. A little bit of overkill, but I appreciate it nonetheless.
I mean, I wasn't about to go through that portal without you at the same time. Just saying.
It has been quite a long time, and there is trust to be reformed between us.
You think?
I understand that. But I do hope that in time, you'll understand that I only want what's best for the world as well. I'm only operating with what I have available to me.
What do you think Vladlin's going to do now that he knows that... First off, what was the whole thing with the paintings that you did, Alice?
She has a little crooked, twisted smile on her face.
Ugh, this woman.
And she goes, Vladlin, well, I hope he's dead.
Wow, way not to answer the actual question, Missy.
But what about the paintings? You just summoned things from the beyond through your paintings? That's what it felt like.
That is what they ended up doing. I started with the sketches, and the sketches turned into paintings, and the more and more I saw the visions, and the more I did the paintings, the more they began to project beyond the canvas.
Question. Does that then mean that, like, there's a bunch of eldritch monsters not that far from us and all of these refugees? Alice? Al?
They are real in the sense that they have manifested. They're not, strictly speaking, creatures from the void itself. They lack the fortitude.
So
At the end of the day, they are just paintings. Hopefully enough to wipe out the veil and remove them from the equation.
But then not kill all of these innocent people nearby.
That
I mean,
was the risk.
I mean, it's like a sealed entrance, right? They resealed the entrance.
It's
secret.
And I don't hear
I
screaming
hope
from the...
that is the case. That is what I was banking on from the beginning when I did release them. But the chaos was also necessary to prevent them from following.
Those paintings were just in that gallery, and they were in those magic circles, so they're just leaving them unattended.
Well, the veil has always sought to control what they can't understand.
Okay. Well, I think we should make our way over to the refugee camp and maybe encourage them to go somewhere else.
The refugees.
Yes.
The ones have already been displaced.
Yes. I mean, like the desert outside of a quarry is not a good spot to set up
True.
either way. So I think they'd be pretty easily convinced to go somewhere with a more hospitable environment, maybe with other people. So I think we'd have a good chance of, and we know a lot of the leaders of the community. It seems like Tenebe, Aquila, those two.
Yeah, that's,
Wait, the actor guy.
he died.
Oh, he died.
Oh,
yeah.
fuck.
Yeah, he got Yeah, you were there for that, right?
I did see
Oh yeah,
him
his face
little bit.
exploded.
It's weird to imagine that it's been kind of nonstop since that point.
Yeah.
We haven't had a chance to really sit down and, I mean, a little bit after killing that weird spider brain tentacle thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you've only been in Harrow for a couple days.
Yeah.
This has honestly been the worst. This has been the worst trip ever. 0 out of 0 stars on Zillow. I mean, on TripAdvisory.com. Not a sponsor.
But let's make our way back to the
Yeah.
and then
Yeah, you.
meet up with our friends.
I hope the girl with the broom is still alive.
Anoop.
Anoop.
Nope.
I gave her a dagger.
I mean, she was in a closet in the upper city. So,
Yeah. So unless she has a paraglider.
cross your fingers.
Let's hope. I gave her a knife, and it would be really nice to see that she's alive.
Yeah, I will say from the construction of the city, the upper tier is the most city locked.
Yeah.
I really hope that she is okay.
Well, the thing is, we found that secret entrance directly into the theater, so maybe she found the secret entrance
Maybe.
down and then was in
And
the
then
middle
also
city.
made her way through the middle city.
And then maybe
found
she could swim
another-
really well, and so she just swam through, went underwater and swam through the. This is
Yeah.
what happened. So when we see her, we're gonna be like, "Oh, you're wet. You must have been swimming through."
This
the
is canon
canals."
now.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's go find her.
It's canon now.
So delusional, all of you.
So yeah, you're gonna make your way towards the refugee camp.
Yes.
Which, so the amount of time that has passed since you left, went into the Vale, talked to Alice, and all of that happened, has only been I don't know, maybe an hour max. So at this point, the train was able to get started up, go, grab people, bring them back, and they are just now coming off the train, setting up their tents, getting themselves reestablished in this spot. Wanting to be as far away from the city as they can while still being able to recollect themselves and figure out what to do next. You see there's quite a good number of people. Like, we're talking a full train, like a passenger train's worth of people that are already here in camp. And you do remember that when you passed through the refugee camp along the wall, there were even more than that. So there's still a good number of people who survived the onslaught. And the train is being readied to go back to retrieve the next group of refugees.
So is a nuke there?
Yeah, we're gonna sift our way through the refugees in camp and look for people that we know.
Yeah.
All right. So you start walking through the, not really a pathway, but the spaces between each of the camp areas, and you're seeing like their faces and the little materials that they brought with them. Really, everyone only has like what they were able to escape with, and some makeshift living situations is probably the best way to describe it. Like remanufactured from the shantytown that existed outside of the city prior to the events of this week. So they basically pulled the shanty town apart and have retransported it here to put it back together. And so people are covered in dirt and blood. They're absolutely distraught. You just hear so many screaming children, crying people. Everybody looks up at you as you are passing through, and you start to realize that some of them are recognizing you. You stand out. This was a pretty homogenous city. And you are the pink tiefling.
Green lady.
The green lady.
Black.
Which is not actually out of the picture for Harrow. There are a lot of darker complexioned people here.
Shock value.
Well, you have tattoos
So-
all over you.
That's
In
true.
this situation, it is Upri and Salvador that stick out the most. Wren to some extent, but there are also fairer skinned people in Harrow. There is a broad range of human skin tones present in this city,
So,
but not so many tiefling, orc, or other fantasy races.
Well, technically, I'm half elf. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of half elves commingle, so that's
Damn.
not out of the ordinary.
I'm going to walk up to be like, my people, what's up? We did it, Joe. Sorry. Okay, let's keep going. Sorry.
So they start to recognize you. Not everyone is like in the mindset, but they start to recognize you, and you start to see people like almost grasping at you, thanking you, like, oh my gosh, it's the heroes of Harrow.
What?
You
Yeah.
stopped it.
Did we?
You can call us H square, actually.
You destroyed the hive mind, the mother.
Mother.
News spreads fast.
Well, it's been maybe 2 hours since you did that.
Yeah.
And as these people are kind of clawing at you, thanking you, like tears streaming down their face, like they are frantic, borderline fanatic, the ones that have recognized you. And then that draws more attention. And as that is happening and people are starting to crowd around you, you hear Akila's voice. Well, fancy meeting you all here. I'm glad you survived the trip into the Vale.
Hi, Aquila.
All right, everyone, give them some room. Give them some room.
Is there a space that we could speak privately, like a tent or something?
And she walks like through the crowd, like people part ways for her.
Wow.
She has been, as one could assume, she has been put as a figurehead in this refugee camp. Behind her, you see Tenebe.
Tenebe!
She nods to Tenebe, smiles back at you, and beckons you through. You're able to make your way through the now parting crowd, and she takes you into one of the more roomy tents, more structurally sound. Nothing fancy. They're not trying to like gloat or like take advantage of the power that they have here, but it has been set up as kind of a headquarters tent. You can also see there's like a medicine room kind of appended onto this, where there are healers that are helping people with their wounds. And there is a small table that like is being used as a desk. So they did bring a table and set it somewhere. It seems a little weird that they might have like left people behind in order to bring a table, but it might have been here.
Quarry.
It might have been in the quarry. Yeah. It's just like one of those things that toys with your mind a little bit of like, oh, that seems out of place, but okay. There's probably an explanation. It's probably not weird.
It's an heirloom.
It was in the shanty town.
So she goes and sits down at the desk and like clasps her hands, and she goes, "First thing I want to do is thank you. You all performed admirably, and these people wouldn't be here without you. They would have been killed in the onslaught of those abominations."
Glad to help out.
Yeah, and about the people's safety, there may or may not be some threatening creatures in the Vale right now, and given that nobody is out here dying, I'm assuming that they're locked in there, but I wouldn't expect that to hold for too long.
All right. That is one challenge at a time, I guess. Well, what did you want to talk about?
It's probably not safe here or Harrow, so this would probably be like a temporary spot before you move on somewhere else.
I feared that was the case. Most of the resources are centralized in the city, and even now with the head cut off, there seems to be capacity to operate. You merely crippled it. But the entity, it still squirms about.
I would recommend heading east then. Out of the desert, at least. At least wild resources in that case. There's not a lot to eat. And if you head towards where is Entropolis? That's east of here, right?
It's pretty far east.
It's pretty far east, on the other side of the Enchanted Forest. It's on the other side of the country,
If
really.
they went to Wharfton, they could probably sail closer there.
Yeah. If you have the resources to hire enough boats.
That's
the
true.
only thing.
Yeah.
What would be quicker? Traveling east by land or sailing like all around the continent?
Well, I doubt we want everybody going to Entropolis. Why do you bring up...
My roots are in Entropolis, and I know a lot of people there that would take care of a good amount of people. Again, I'm not sure. You're probably right. Not all of the refugees should head to one place, but there are plenty of cities along the way that might take in refugees. If you don't mind splitting the party.
I mean, we have our neighboring... They're smaller cities, but Korea and Wolfton probably could take in at least their fair share of refugees. I don't know how welcome they'll be, but...
Well, maybe you should send out scouts kind of explaining what has been happening. So, because I think the people that I'm most worried about right now are the elderly, if any of them gotten out, or anyone who has been injured. They're going to need the most amount of rehousing more immediately.
I do envy your hope, Yancey. It's lightning.
A lot has changed in 2 hours. I've become much more positive.
Unfortunately, things in Everfear have never been so community-driven. We'll do our best to elicit help from our neighboring towns, and, I mean, refugees will show up. It's just a matter of whether or not they're embraced and taken in, or left to their own devices on the fringe of the city.
This is not the Aquila that I've known and tolerated. You must have connections. You must be able to... You're a badass. Don't give up hope just yet. Use those connections.
Oh, of course I will. I just... Call me a realist. I will do my best.
Well, people are looking up to you, so even though you can be realists here, but you got to give these people a sense of hope. They have been displaced.
You're right. Beyond the walls of this tent,
Beautiful tent.
I must put on that face. You are absolutely correct, Yancey. But to be frank, they're going to go where they can go and do what they need to do to survive. I cannot help them with that. The numbers are just too great. The need is too great. But let's not dwell on the insurmountable problem at hand.
Wow.
And instead, I must ask what this all means. Surely you found answers in the Vale?
This is our friend.
Yes. We are, in lieu of describing everything that has already been described,
Yeah,
can
yeah,
we
yeah.
montage acting out?
There's poster
monsters,
boards. Yeah.
There's monsters, and we're like making like we have to go.
I'm in
Pose.
the back
Yes.
end, baby.
We summarize. You can go tell Aquila and Tenebe everything that happened in the Vale and the Void, and all of the people that are now accompanying you. And throughout the whole story, she is like hands clasped. You can see that she's like tensing up slightly. It's a lot of story to take in. And she's like trying to like actively follow everything that's happening. And when you finish speaking, she goes, "Wow." Just wow.
Wow.
I felt the same way.
So I guess you're off to the Enchanted Forest then.
Yes.
And hopefully, eventually, Entropolis, potentially. Entropolis?
I would like to get back to Entropolis, and I will say that if you do send people to Entropolis, one, you will know people there. Well, I know people there, so you will know people there who can help set you up, at least in some sort of temporary aspect. And it is a war city, so if we can prevent things from breaking out inside the city, it is a pretty defensible spot. On the river, it's up on a hill. I wouldn't send all the refugees there. It just would be overwhelming for their...
I wouldn't send any of them there. But what I would suggest is I still have most of my crew. The ones that retrieved your gear.
Oh.
We lost some. But I believe we could be of service to you prior to your arrival. It sounds like the Silence is planning something in that region.
Dun, dun, dun.
Why don't I go be your eyes and ears and my little ravens?
Aquila and her ravens. Spy network.
I was
Actually,
hoping
that
you were
sounds
going to say
excellent.
bees, because Aquila and the bee.
My little bee.
My little bees.
That sounds like an excellent plan. And Wren is going to go to the table and rummage for a piece of paper and a writing utensil, whether that's a quill or something.
Yeah, there's just loose paper, scraps of paper.
And I would like to write 2 letters. One is a letter of introduction, introducing Aquila to the general that I know, the military general who runs the military in that city.
Yeah, and we totally remember his name.
Totally. I don't know, he has a niece who was really into midnight.
Yeah.
Remember
Yes.
that?
Does have a niece. He's a niece that's really into midnight.
And
like I
the
can find
second
that
letter
name.
is also to that same general, but I'm going to see if I can find a messenger bird or something to take a letter ahead to him
Yeah.
from me.
Griff de Grey.
De Grey, yes.
Griff de Grey.
Griff de
Look at
Grey.
you go.
Beautiful.
I took notes.
Wow.
More than I took, that's for sure.
That was shady. And the daughter is Aleph.
But I want to warn him about the Silence and tell him what happened in Harrow and let him know that Aquila is on her way, and to leverage her resources because she's very resourceful, and to root out any Silence that might be in the city, because I think it's imperative that we make sure that the city itself is safe, because I don't want that to happen. What happened in Harrow to happen in Entropolis.
Understood and agreed.
And I will tie Aquila's letter of introduction with my hair tie thing that I normally tie my hair with, which is, it's embellished and pretty and was made custom for me. And I'm
You
gonna
don't
say
have a wax seal?
no.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were going to tie it to her neck like a little kid at the
Just hold
airport.
on to that.
Wow.
But I'm gonna retcon my entire existence and say that I wear this. I wore this specific one I wore all the time, and it's very specific to me, so it's identifiable as I'm sending this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She agrees to do that. She takes the letter from you and puts it in her satchel on the side, and she goes, well, after we're done helping all of these refugees get to where they go next, I will be on my way to Entropolis, and I'll do everything in my power to secure the city, secure our base of operations.
Bring your most talented people, your blacksmiths, your construction workers, people who can help out in a situation like that.
I will
Those who are
see what I
willing
can
to,
do.
Obviously.
I do have a question. Have you received any news from anyone in the Upper Banks city?
Upper Banks.
The only news that we've received has been by word of mouth, and it is the people present here. Is there someone you're looking for in particular?
I'm looking for a young lady named Anoop. I just want to make sure that she got back safely.
She kind of like shrugs and like shakes her head a little bit as she like turns to you and she goes, "There's a lot of people here and the name doesn't ring a bell, but that isn't to say that she didn't make it. It's just not a name that I've come across since I've been here in the last hour."
Well, you find her.
Bring her back.
Exactly.
And bring her with. She's a very talented stagehand.
Exactly.
But she doesn't like talking to people, so...
But also she has connections with the Veil.
True.
She was the one who sent us there.
She's the one that sent you
To Vladlin.
to Vladlin.
Oh.
Because Vladlin was running the Apostate Underground as a secondary role to his time.
So you're saying
Veil.
Anoop might be an apostate, which means she might have magical powers, which means she might be safe because she could just blast her way out of the city.
It's a possibility.
Just saying.
So delusional.
We can dream.
If she wasn't killed, she died of dehydration in that closet.
She's just eating crackers.
I mean, we haven't had any meaningful deaths the last season, really, did we?
Did we? I mean, it's Blades
I
and
didn't kill
Sorelli.
too many people last season. That was all season 1 stuff.
No, Blades was season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blades was season 2. Blades did die. That is true.
Shannon and Carol, the two.
We formed such wonderful connections with Shannon and Carol. You all loved them so much.
They're trying to kill us, but
Yes, and then one of them was my friend, and I raised her from the dead.
Yeah, friend is a word that can be used there. Correct.
We also met that person named Bob.
Oh yeah,
Who died.
Who the fuck is Bob?
Bob.
I don't know.
It's your normal
you're
name.
making things up.
The drag queen.
What about Zahir?
Zahir,
Where's your boyfriend?
so Zahir was in
Your
the
second boyfriend.
in the Warren.
Was with Aquila.
Okay.
Okay.
So he's just hanging out.
So you haven't seen him yet. You haven't seen Bran yet. You've only seen Aquila and Tenebe. So would you like to ask about Zahir?
Yeah, I casually drop outside of the hearing of Fredesley.
Fredes. Oh.
Ruth.
Have
Oh,
you-
you would want your first boyfriend to hear about your second boyfriend?
to be fair, we'd been together 4 days. I'd seen him 2 times, and I abandoned him, so I don't know how he feels. But yeah, Aquila, among other things, dealing with being the new leader of these people. Have you found any officials or people of governmental influence that survived? And is Zahir around?
Surprisingly, few government officials have escaped the city. The construction of the city being 3 tiers of defensible walls may have left them stuck. Zahir, on the other hand, I have taken great care of him. He's probably just wandering the camp. He's great with children.
I give her a small punch on the arm and I say, thanks.
I'm going to punch
Not a
down the arm.
And she's gonna she gives you a little bit of a wink, like a knowing wink and nod.
Gotcha. I wink.
Desmond. Just kidding.
Oh.
Anything else you would like to ask Aquila while she is currently in front of you?
How many people do you estimate are in this camp?
I'd say about 500-600.
Okay.
Damn.
Oh, yeah.
And there's more arriving shortly once the train returns.
Got it.
That's a big ass train.
How many more trips do you think this train will make before?
Hard to tell. When I left, there were stragglers climbing out of the wall, but it seemed to be slowing down. Hopefully, I heard some people rallying to try to take back the city, and there's a potential that could go horribly wrong, or they find more survivors in the rubble.
Well, I don't want to say that there's not much we could do to help them now, because we have important...
Oh, yes, of course. You all have much greater things to do. Unfortunately, the people of the city are going to be left to their own devices.
Well, that sucks for them.
You can't save everyone, Yancey. It's a
Except
lesson
for
best
you.
learned now,
Who's
given
dead?
my understanding.
Upper, you're so real.
What can I say? Learning that we're gonna die and it's all me. This is maybe a little bit of a nihilist.
Given my understanding of the course of events that you've been set on, you're going to have to learn that lesson, and now is probably the best time to do it.
Fine, okay, got it. Rude. And I snack on some bacon. There's not much more I really need to say.
Yeah.
All good?
I'm good here. Did you want to go find your friend?
Yeah, Mike. Yeah, I'll go find Zahir and let him know how everything's shaking out.
Yeah, Wesley, I want to show you the thing on the other side of the camp.
There's a lovely.
I'm like, we're like on the same wavelength.
Yeah,
Like, okay.
knowing
you don't want your
eyes.
two. Okay, so you're not polyamorous. So it's like it'd be a weird situation. Okay, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what we didn't label things whenever we were in prison.
Oh, that's fair.
Prison bitch. Okay, sorry. Continue.
I will go distract. I will I guess while you're doing that, I'm gonna go help the injured. Because, doctor.
Yeah.
You are
So go-
a physician.
I will
by
go
trade.
around patching up people's, wounds, putting, ointments and things on bruises, giving suggestions to other people who are helping. Actually, that's actually one of my fun things as a scholar is I have... Oh, what's it called? Sage advice. And if I talk to somebody for a minute about a topic, or a skill in this case, they become proficient in that skill on their next check. So I'm going to go instruct people on medicine.
Nice.
To be like, here's how you medicine.
Beautiful. Yeah, and you're actually a really good doctor.
One of the best.
You're going to be working with clerics, but you're a really good doctor. So,
But clerics run out of spells. Then what are they going to do?
yeah,
They
clerics
just
run out
watch
of
people
energy.
die?
And yeah, so it is. I mean, genuinely, this is extremely helpful. They are so in need of help. The order is kind of present in this camp, but you notice the numbers are pretty small, the ones that are here. And they were the majority of the healers that were available in Harrow prior to the cataclysm.
Yeah.
Catastrophe.
The canon event.
So you're not quite sure why there aren't many clerics here, because there was quite a presence before. I mean, they were on every freaking corner of Harrow. So you would expect way more of them to survived, given that there's a bunch of random commoners, for lack of a better term, that are here. So if they survived, where did they go? Anyways, you're very helpful. Yeah. So you're helping out the few clerics. There's 2 that are from the Order of Prey and Pudicum, and the rest are of smaller denominations. So we've got like Tau clerics, we've got
That's you.
That's me.
we got like one Tau cleric probably.
That's you.
A lot more Voluptia.
Okay.
So the vast majority of them are followers of Voluptia.
Okay.
Not much of a presence of most of the other gods' followers here.
All right. That's fine. I'll teach them all. And I don't care that much. Just make sure people are taken care of. And then we meet up outside of camp because we're just gonna head out. Yeah?
Yeah.
Does that sound good as a group?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. We're not too far from the Enchanted Forest. Right?
Yeah. Do you want to go see Zahir?
Yeah, I'll go see him.
Right. Yeah, you've got a boyfriend.
I have to say goodbye.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you hooked up with him once. Let's not make it.
It's more than I've done with Desmond.
Desmond, did you hear that?
But yeah, I'm going to go scope him out. And I'm sure he's helping somebody with a scraped knee because he's so good with kids, like Akila said.
Yeah, you see him from a distance because there are some kids playing. One falls over, scrapes their knee, yada yada. You hit the nail right on the head. That's exactly what's going on. And Bran is with him, following him around. And they have like Bran has like two little like rag dolls in his hands, and he's like bent down, crouching because he's a giant monstrosity of man. I think we said he was like 8 feet. Yeah, he's a giant. He's half Goliath.
Yeah.
He's hot.
Everybody is hot.
He's not
in
a
this
monstrosity
world.
of a man. He's like
Yeah.
chiseled and like hunky.
Yeah.
He's a chunk. Yeah.
Okay.
Monstrosity.
Monstrosity.
He's just
Everything
tall,
is just
okay.
Yeah, he's very tall. So he's like crouched down. He has these tiny little rag dolls in his hands, and he's just like playing with them in front of the children. And then Zahir is like nursing a wound, being like, if you blow on it, it helps make it better. Da da da.
Yeah.
So that's not his voice, but you see this from the distance.
Got it.
That's the scene. So as you approach, you are coming up from behind him, but Bran recognizes you and gives you a wave.
I waved back.
And so seeing Bran wave, he looks up and like turns around. Salvador.
You and your country boyfriends.
You really do have a type.
I'm glad to see you again.
Likewise. Yeah.
They're also always like slightly drunk. So I don't know. I'll just garble my letters and think sweet nothings between these ears. Like that's how I get in character for your boyfriend, Sal.
Understood.
Just I don't know.
The he, him
I'm
mythology.
hoping this is your tap, but yeah. Sorry, where was I?
You were saying hello. I rush over
Salvador,
to him.
it's good to see you again.
Before he can speak, I embrace him and I sort of lift him out of the crouch position and I give him a kiss.
He kisses you back, and then as he does so, he like grips you tighter and like pulls you in, like pulls your hips into his.
Whoa.
Do like a little hip check.
Viewer discretion advised.
keep it PG.
Yeah. Oh, listener.
And then he just like goes for it. Like this is somebody who almost died multiple times today.
Yeah.
And you were the last like nice thing that they remembered prior to the events.
Yeah.
And so like in their mind, the freshness of last night, right? It was only last night, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
The freshness of last night and the joy it brought. They're like really into it. They are they're eating face.
Oh man. Well, I have a whole new lease on life. Sal's been very chained up by his remorse, and that night of passion and exhilaration is sort of like, this has been a whole, like, I think you described it in one of the intros that it pulled a stick out of Salvador's ass.
Yes, we did do that.
yeah.
And that was a joint effort between Upri and myself.
But yeah, so Salvador, he's awash in these emotions of just having something solid, and he knows that he's gonna have to eventually separate like he did before, as he had done with Desmond. So he's Salvador says to Zahir, I am so glad that everything we were able to escape together and avoid most of the havoc that has basically decimated the town. And there have been some revelations since I've gone to the monastery out in this area, and eventually I'm gonna have to leave again. I know this is unexpected, as probably the whole apocalyptic monster thing is unexpected, but I just want to say that I'm utterly grateful that I was able to meet you when I did, and that I hope that we can reconnect before the end of the world.
He like puts his fingers on your lips.
Oh gosh.
Salvador, I know this is gonna sound absolutely batshit insane, but there's something here, and
Bruh.
I don't know where this is taking you, and I mean, I got just glimpses of your storyline from the time we were evading the city, like running away, and so I have no idea what's going on in your life. I have no idea where you're going or what you're doing or what insane, crazy monsters you are gonna go fight, because I know you're gonna go do that.
Oh yeah.
You are a hero through and through, and I just instantly can tell that, and I wanna experience that. I wanna see it through.
I feel the exact same way.
I want to see it through. So, tell me, where can I see you again?
Well,
You went to U-Haul?
If you are,
You went to U-Haul?
if you are going to leave this city so soon and be out of my life, I need to know when and where our fates will intertwine again.
we'll meet up again in the beautiful metropolitan area of Entropolis.
Metropolis.
I hear there's a great establishment called Lark's Perch.
You get a spiritual thumbs up. from
Yeah.
Mark.
I've always wanted to go.
You've heard of it?
Entropolis? Yeah,
Oh.
everybody heard of Entropolis. It's a major city.
I meant Lark's Perch. That
Oh
was-
no, I have no idea what Lark's Perch is, but it sounds absolutely wonderful if you say it is what it is.
Yeah.
And your friend is the owner of it. Is that what you
I didn't say
said?
that, but good intuition.
I think he mentioned it
Maybe,
at
yeah,
some point
I think so, yeah.
last night.
He was the guy we were running with. He
The
was one with
DM
the
can't
club.
remember, so like that's what this NPC is gonna just pretend happened.
Understood.
So yeah, I will see you in Entropolis.
I'm making a pit stop in the Enchanted Forest. I don't know how long that'll be, but we'll eventually wend our way to Entropolis.
Brian, are you coming with too?
As this is all happening, Beyonce's gonna whisper to herself, "Thank God Blaze is dead and has stayed dead, because this is messy. All y'all people falling in love after one day. I know the Enchanted Forest is enchanted, but this is silly.
This is schmaltzy.
Hey, not me. It's just
just
Sal.
It's just so.
Now this is the realist of Beyonce coming out. No, hold on now. Y'all got some whoopee and now y'all in love.
This is very much a Frozen Anna and Hans situation.
Oh,
It's a
y'all, wanna,
U-Haul situation.
y'all really want to build a
You're about to
snowman.
U-Haul. You would have U-Hauled with Desmond.
Yeah.
And now Zahir's gonna U-Haul his way to Entropolis for you.
Well, the good thing is he doesn't have a lot of possessions, so it should be pretty simple.
besides the monstrous.
It's not a full U-Haul. It's just a U-Haul truck.
It's like a buggy.
It's like a van.
Yeah.
It's the dolly.
Yeah, it's just a dolly. But yeah, I give him another embrace. I give him a passionate smooch. And
Oh yeah, he reciprocates.
Well, I'm telling Desmond.
have you been surreptitiously viewing this?
Yeah, I've been. I mean, since the noob's not around right now, I got nothing else to buy my time. I'm just eating bacon, being like, y'all.
When you show interest in somebody, I will reciprocate with NPCs.
Yeah,
But
maybe we can have another seance and talk to
we just
Desmond.
keep bringing blades back. Yeah, that's fine, right?
I'm an independent woman.
That's a healthy relationship.
Of course.
No. Beyonce has properly said goodbye and has moved on and is starting a business called Beyonce Emporium. I don't know. We'll figure out at the end of the season. Stay
We'll
tuned.
workshop that.
Oh, sorry. Are we?
Oh
done
no,
with that scene?
I'm finished. Yeah.
Are we go with that scene? Can I instigate another scene?
Yeah, so basically Bran's coming too.
Got it.
I mean, if Akila's going,
Brand's going. We could
Brand's
use
going.
Use a hunky,
and
hunky
I mean,
man.
Zahir, I guess, was part of that assumption.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe.
He's muscular.
He's a good bartender.
He's a
That's it.
bartender.
I could give him a job. Oh, I write. Well, no, I can't. I'm not
Yeah,
there.
there's not
You
enough
could give
paper.
him a job.
I could give him a job.
Salvador, if you want to tell him that he could ask for a job.
Yeah, you have great skill at mixing drinks, and that is one of the specialties that they have there. I don't know exactly what they serve or their whole vibe, but I'm sure you could adapt because you're flexible.
Wow. A+ flirting right here.
And he, in response, no words were needed. In response, he just like places his hand on your cheek and like gazes into your eyes,
Where's this reference?
and then turns to go back to the children that have been. They were watching this whole thing because children lose interest quickly. They're not like sitting there like.
Adults are talking, yeah.
Yeah, adults are talking, so they went and played. So he now returns to the children. Bran has run off with like little rag dolls, and
Yeah.
they go to play. Keep the children's spirits up.
Yeah.
All right, so Wren, what did you want to do?
So I'm going to send Lark, Jasmine, Freya, and Alice off to the edge of be like, oh, we're gonna go meet over there. Go over there, and I would like to have a word with Upri, if that's okay. Just a quick word.
Where am I?
I don't know. Where are you?
I don't know.
I think you were.
You can be there. That's fine.
I'm,
You
just,
can
I'm
be
handing
there.
the kids the bacon. I'm just
Yeah.
getting rid of
Yeah.
the moldy stuff, though, not the good stuff.
Upri, I just wanted to say thank you for having my back in the pocket dimension. You didn't hesitate, and I appreciate that.
Well, yeah.
Come on, little John.
I look around to see if Sal and Beyonce are in earshot, and I said, not that I don't trust our other companions, but they would have hesitated, and you didn't.
I mean, I'm always down to fuck shit up.
And I like that about you.
Yeah, I feel like we could fuck shit up together.
We definitely could fuck shit up.
I mean, we have.
fucked shit up
have,
together. That's all. I just wanted to say, I didn't want to say that with Lark around because I did put a dagger in his chest. I should apologize for that. I thought he was a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
Because again, he died. I was
buried him.
there,
Yeah.
and so I assumed that it wasn't him.
Yeah.
To be
That
fair,
makes sense.
to be fair, Beyonce also saw a monster at that table. Or Upri and Beyonce saw
That's
a
true.
monster.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah,
Yeah, I
you
just
had
saw a
creature
flesh
with
golem, so I like.
And also, I did throw an Eldritch Blast that way. It just missed.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
To be fair,
don't
I
hear-
missed too. I hit the floor.
Just saying, if we're gonna... So, Beyonce can't hear any of this, but I can just feel some anger. Someone's talking shit about me.
No,
I like.
No.
I'd like to picture that like we're having a conversation. We didn't invite you, but you're listening like 20 feet away anyway, and you just like are talking really loudly to yourself and answering to the conversation.
Exactly. I'm like, Wow, that Eldritch Blast that I just throw means nothing. Hey, kid, you want this bacon? Sorry, it's a little moldy. You can just flick that off.
And at this point, we just know to ignore you.
That's it. I just wanted to have that moment.
I love
Good
it.
Give a
job,
little
Ren.
thanks.
And I'll fist bump.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's it? Okay,
So, is there anything else that you would like to do here in Harrow before you set off for the Enchanted Forest?
What time of the day is it? Is it nighttime?
It's probably, getting late in the day. Well, it's probably night, just straight up night, because you all went to the was it a matinee performance?
I thought it was an evening. Was it?
Or was it 4 o'clock?
The sun was setting during the show.
It was an
Right.
evening
It
performance.
was an evening performance of Don Giovanni.
Yeah.
Where all of that started, and it's been like 2 hours since the sun had set. So
No, but we fought the big mama thing,
And
mama
we-
tentacles, and then we slept.
Yeah.
remember?
Oh, you did sleep.
slept.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it
Thank
probably
you.
is night again because it's been a long day.
been a day, yeah.
I mean, that means we should stay one more night so you can get one more.
Yeah, we had to walk those train tracks, so that would have been a while.
Yeah. So you woke up in the Warrens this morning,
Mm-hmm.
made your way to the front of the city, walked along the tracks to, I think I said it was like 5 or 7 miles, something like that, to the quarry.
Harassed a foreman.
Harassed a foreman. Thank you, Yonsei.
Stole hat.
And then went to the Vale.
Yeah.
Then had a very lovely conversation in the void.
Yeah.
Which could have taken however long. Like, who knows? Time dilation.
Yeah,
That's a word
returned.
I've heard before.
So we're it's been a full day. It is. So let's just say it's like evening. We're getting to sunset again.
Great.
Tenebe throughout this has set up some cots for you all. So you're getting hero treatment because like you've seen other people like slumped together in piles like fighting over blankets, and you have cots set up for you by Tenebe, and on one of them there is a green glass sword.
Ooh. Is it for me?
It is the sword that you requested from the
Bahir.
blacksmith.
Bahir, right? That's
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
his
Bahir,
name
the
was
blacksmith.
Bahir. You don't see Bahir anywhere around, but you do see the sword. You could ask Tenebe.
I would like to.
Okay.
I take the sword up. Is this from that Bahir, that blacksmith? That where? What is
Ren,
this?
yes. It is from Bahir.
Is he okay?
He's fine.
Oh, good.
He wanted to make sure that you got it.
Oh well, thank him for me if I don't see him.
I will do if I see him again. He's probably looking for his sister.
Oh no. Well, I'm gonna draw the blade. So it's like a glass sword?
Is a glass sword.
Ooh, I did not ask for a glass sword, but I'm so glad it is a glass sword.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it is a masterwork sword. He had.
Love that.
You could assume that he had just finished this.
Yeah.
Because you were supposed to have picked it up yesterday.
Right.
The day after you went to the play.
Yeah. Oops.
But he had probably just finished it the night before. While you were at the play. And it is a masterwork sword. It is gorgeous. It has this beautiful, like, engraving embellishment along the blade. And then the hilt of it is this beautiful hammered copper that like twists and spirals, and it has that like it's almost like a fencing sword, but it's like a long sword but has like the fencing hilt where it has that like cover over your hand that like I don't know anything about swords, y'all. But it's like that socket that
Mechanically, does it function like a short sword?
mechanically.
Okay, good. Because I'm not proficient with long swords.
Short
like a
sword.
rapier.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
I guess I'm proficient with rapiers.
It's like a rapier short sword situation. Like it's very, very narrow blade.
Ooh.
Like almost rapier-like, but still a short sword.
I remember it say precision. Like
Yeah, it is a precision instrument. Because like when you had the conversation with him and you like looked at his work, you like picked out something that felt good for you, and then he worked with that and like took your kind of vibe and what you asked for and all your specifications. I don't know what blacksmiths do when they do all this stuff, but I'm assuming that they
glassmith,
had
too.
a conversation. Yeah, sorry, he's a glass and metal worker.
double skills.
Yeah, he's very skilled. It is so sharp and so strong, considering it's made out of glass. And
Great.
It's apparently this is something that you can actually do.
Yeah,
like you
really?
can
It's like
temper,
obsidian.
you can temper glass
Oh,
pretty strong.
I didn't actually know that.
It's not
game.
going to be like a fully tempered steel in terms of strength, but it is going to be much more than like an untempered metal.
Okay, cool. Brilliant. I'm going to sheathe my masterwork +1 for mechanically.
We will talk about the stats of the sword after this. But yeah, it's going to be a good sword.
Oh, everyone got something.
Well, remember when my magic weapon was snapped in two? So
Yeah, we're just replacing a magic item.
Beyonce stares at her Ring of the Ram, and she's like, no.
It still hasn't worked yet.
Yeah.
Keeps hitting
it-
random object. It went out and ate grass.
You have a tattoo.
It's true.
Tattoo.
All the things you said. All
here,
the things you
remember
said.
my magical items are now my glass sword and an evil ring
Yeah.
that doesn't come off. It
What?
just like bites into my finger.
What does it do? Does it do
I
anything?
literally don't know.
Okay. Maybe we can find a magic person.
It was just gifted to me by a creepy creature that was like, join us. And then,
Oh, the assimilator.
right.
You're bonded.
Yeah.
Great.
Now you all know the names of
guess
the
that's
Titans,
true.
so you can talk about them freely
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
openly.
yours sounds like fun. Mine's a creepy child.
Yeah. So let's go around the table and just remind the audience who we have whispering in our ears.
Oh, yeah. Mine is the assimilator. All they say is, join us, all the time.
Much more creepy than that,
Yeah.
but yes.
That's all I know about them, too.
Yeah. I have the dreamer who, in my one experience with him, is able to make things appear whenever I think about him.
Beautiful.
I have the director, who's a narcissistic, manipulative, abusive asshole.
But you have puppet powers.
We have puppet
Thank
powers.
God
We love
for
puppets.
that.
And
Love
what's best
those.
is you love puppets, don't
So
you?
much.
So much. So much. you
Everyone
love
loves
puppets.
puppets.
Yes.
And I have the
yeah.
transgressor, and they're kind of chill. They're a bit mid, but you know.
Mid.
That
I
is probably an accurate description.
Yeah,
They're pretty
it's
chill.
very 7 deadly sins it's giving.
Yes,
And
they
I'm just
do
so
want
giving.
you to entice people into sinning.
Exactly.
So, with that, we are going to be leaving Harrow, right?
Yeah. Can I do one thing before?
Yeah. One more thing.
I wanted to cast Drifting Dreams in a part of the camp.
All right.
So I'm
Yep.
gonna sneak behind a tent just so that I appear inconspicuous. But everyone within a 90-foot radius of me, if they're not already asleep, because it is night, they'll fall asleep. And they get a very pleasant dream. And the effects of the word of the spell are that kind messenger delivers a soothing message to them. So I'm going to do a what are the native fauna of this region? Like
Cacti?
no, a fauna, like animals.
Lizards?
Is there any
Snake,
like or like armadillos or
armadillos.
yeah, I'll do a small armadillo.
We said that this was a desert, but we were not very descriptive. A lot of the inspiration for like the architecture and culture came from medieval Egypt. But then we kind of just made the ecosystem a little bit more vague.
Yeah. But yeah.
So, sure, armadillos.
An armadillo spirit.
Yeah, so it is like just a regular armadillo that's in a desert scene, and it whispers them soothing words of like, I know things are tough now, but you're tough people, and you'll be able to get back in there, tiger. And they all get the benefits of a long rest. So
Beautiful. That is the best sleep that they could ever have hoped for in this situation.
and hopefully some hope as well. And now I have to do a roll.
Yeah, I need to backtrack. Ren needs to do a roll
know,
too.
I just
so
remembered that.
you
too.
tell me. I don't have the sheet pulled up to look at the rules of those spells. But if you could do your rolls and let me know if you pass or fail that corruption roll.
I got it
It's
somewhere.
a Constitution saving.
Yeah, we did
okay.
tweak all of the corruption mechanics this season. We realized that
Well,
having
only if you
everything
take
be a
damage.
wisdom save was not the best move because Salvador will always ace that exam.
Wait, so they're con saves now?
No.
They differ depending on the spell.
Okay.
So every spell has its own associated save for the kind of repercussion. And then the
that's-
corruption save is
It's just a D20, right?
just
Plus
a d20 plus proficiency. So that it's not associated with a skill.
Got
It's
it.
just like a...
Random roll.
Yeah, you'll get better as your proficiency goes up, but also as your corruption goes up, that DC goes up.
So mine was a level 2 soul spell. I have my corruption level is 1 right now, which is wild because I've used it a bunch. But I
Yeah,
guess I've been
your
saving
corruption
them.
tier, you mean?
Oh yes,
No.
my corruption
Yeah.
tier is none. You know, encroaching on mild. So that means I have to beat an 11.
Yep.
I did. I rolled a 21.
Okay. So what that is going to do is your will is going to increase.
Oh, what does that do?
So this is a new mechanic that I am introducing this season. That every time you pass one of your corruption rolls, you get something called will, and I am not going to tell you what that does.
So what should I write down? What my will level is? Or are you
Yes.
gonna
So
keep-
you
okay.
are currently at 1 corruption,
Yeah.
4 will. So you will go up to 5.
Oh. Okay.
Salvador has 1 corruption and 4 will. Did you pass your corruption save?
So I have to do 2 saves first. So
Yeah.
the first is a wisdom saving throw to see if I get any sleep. And I got a wisdom saving throw. Oh, what? So wisdom saves are +8. So I got a 17,
Okay.
which beats the DC 14.
Yep.
And now I have to do so that was a level 1 spell, and I'm at 0 tier, so I have to be at a 10. Yep, I got a 16.
Okay.
at 20
So you are
20.
also at 1 corruption and 5 will. Nice. Yancey is at 4 corruption, 4 will. And Upri is at 5 corruption, 4 will.
Still mild. Ew.
Yeah, so the two... The audience can't see what side of the table you are on, but the left side of the screen, my right side of the table. So I guess these people over here, are in the mild corruption, and that will make all of their spells from their soul classes more powerful, but it will also make the DCs of all their saves harder.
Yeah.
And with that, we are going to be leaving Harrow on our way to the Enchanted Forest. And that is where we are going to close this episode. Go around.
Looks like you're pinching.
Yeah, sorry.
Go around. Who has been with me today? It has been
Dan playing Wren.
Yeah.
Doing socials too.
If you would like.
Oh, socials. I mean, I don't really use them a lot, but if you do want to follow, they're all Anxious Cat Daddy.
Beautiful.
Hi, I've been Chris. I've been playing Sal.
Wow.
So cool.
So much energy that
Read me to Phil. That's fine.
I'm sorry. Nice to see you.
Beautiful.
I'm Russell. I've been playing Upri.
Any socials?
Not that I want to share.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink.
And Kai.
And this is Kai. I've been playing Yonsei, and the socials I have to plug are at KaiStorm325, and then I also have a drag account at KillerCrocDrag. So yeah, follow me there if you want to. If you
And
don't,
spell Killicroc for the audience.
oh yeah, it's KILLAHCROC, then drag DRAG.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining me today, and let's jump into our outro.
Who have you been?
Oh, I've been Timothy as our keeper of secrets, the omnipotent god.
Wait, who are you?
You can follow me. I just do the Goblin Forge stuff in terms of socials. So it's all part of the outro. I'll read it there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Outro. Let's go. Switch our music and we're good.
Yay.
As we close the curtain on this latest chapter of Shadows of Prophecy, we extend our fond farewells, cherished listeners. Allow the lingering whispers of our journey to take root in your thoughts, a gentle echo of the mysteries that dance just beyond the edges of reality. But let not our temporary separation bring concern. Remember, the shadows are here to stay. Guardians of secrets, weavers of haunting dreams, and dwellers in the forgotten corners of your mind. So, as we take rest for now, keep your gaze keen on those shadowy recesses, practicing both vigilance and curiosity. I want to give a special thank you to our generous patrons, JCH, Chris B, and Maggie Z, whose unwavering support keeps the candles burning bright here at Goblin Forge. Before we bid you farewell, remember to like, follow, and subscribe to stay updated on our future journeys into the unknown. This playcast is a Goblin Forge production. If you enjoyed what you experienced today, follow us on Instagram at goblin_forge_TTRPG, at goblin_forge on TikTok, or join our Discord community. And if you haven't already, be sure to share the mysteries of Kitschy's shop, Shadows of Prophecy, with our friends and fellow seekers of the supernatural. Until our paths cross again, remember, welcome the embrace of the unknown when it beckons once more.
Ooh.